My fellow Liberians, despite our diversity, we are a united people, a great and noble people. Through the strength of our unity and the resilience of our determination, we have begun to rebuild a ravaged country and have survived 2 deadly health crises. Our people have stood together as one united people, ready to face the future. Whether you are a fisherman of Grand Cru and Sino, the hunters of Grand Jide and River G, the farmers of Lofa and Bapolu, the Gola and Vai dancers of Bumi and Cape Mount, the hospitable people of Bassa and River Ses, the warriors of Maryland, the miners and explorers of Nimba, the merchants and traders of Bong, the welcoming people of Magibi, or the melting pot of Montserrado. We are one people, Liberians. We have a great challenge and opportunity ahead of us. In unity, we will rebuild this country as a shining example in Africa, demonstrating the power of a determined and united people. Our economy and our national budget will expand and grow like never before. We will improve the lives of our people and put smiles on the faces of our citizens. I promise you that together we can and will do the job. A new day is on the horizon. The time for babysitting is over. God bless you and God bless Liberia.
Come on, Denzaya. Daddy, my business, you catching fever. Getting serious like empty river. Ain't no stopping by the river. And as we coming, we sweeping, we cutting, we moving all the way. Yeah. We coming, yeah. We gotta be coming. As we coming, we sweeping, we coming. Anywhere we meet obstacle, we gotta be coming. I watch you come, man, yeah. We coming. We gotta be coming. When the year is me, they checking you again. Gazu kwa kwa. We coming. We gotta be coming. They are on some. We coming. We gotta be coming. C'est coming, c'est fort et à mon tour son gouverneur de coming. Everybody's talking about a maker and a zana coming and baby everybody's talking about a maker and a zana when the year is me, they checking you again, guys. From the shore of the Blue River to the peak of the Himba Mountain, we coming, yeah. We gotta be coming, and we coming from the Piso to the shores of the Shepherds. We gotta be coming, young guy, you are the man, we coming, yeah. We gotta be coming. From all the way, my Putu to the peak of Warokisi. C'est what? C'est tout, c'est tri, c'est fort. Come here, we coming. We gotta be coming. We coming. We gotta be coming. We coming. We gotta be coming. Everybody's talking about a maker, Elizana, come here, papi, everybody's talking about a maker, Elizana, come here. When the year is me, checking you again, Gazuko, and when it comes, nobody should hold me. Everybody's celebrating as I'm dancing to my right and I'm dancing to my left. Mombasa to Riverside. Hey, all the way to Bond County. From the County to Granchida. River G, sign of Maryland and Grand Crew County. Love and came my bombing and Bapo County. We coming. Where's our big coming? They are not too strong now. We coming. Where's our big coming? Say coming. Say for they are not too strong. Where's our big coming? Say 3, say 4. Come here. There is a big come here.
I'm here today to really clear the air about some of the vicious lies that were told, because when those things remain in the public space, unfortunately, with the population we have that is not very educated to make informed decisions and really analyze information that is put out to them, you get people believing some of those lies. So it was important for me to come here today and clarify some of those things. Like you said, Stanton, I'm not here in any official capacity. I'm here, as Mariah, and I just want to say something. I'm not sure who I should, but at some point I will have to ask Spoon to put up some documents on the screen for people to see for themselves, and I hope that's something we can do, because I can sit here and talk all day, but the people have to see for themselves some of this documentation and some of these processes. So you just let me know who to send it to.
Can you send those documents to Ben or Dr. Richardson? Like, just get it ready.
So the framework document was signed May 19th. That was in the middle of COVID, and it was done on Zoom. If everybody remembers, it was a Zoom signing. All of the political leaders were in different locations. Okay, so all of them were in different locations. So they did not sign the document as one document. Everybody had their copy and they signed it. And that was what happened on May 19th. So nobody gave 5 copies to any one person. Everybody had a copy. You signed your document, you kept your copy, you had your copy with you. They were not in the same room, they were not in the same location, they were all at different locations. They all signed the individual copies of the document and they kept their copies. When that document was released to the media and on Facebook, there was huge public backlash because there was a clause in the initial framework document that talked about only known and visible CPP members will get jobs, the employment clause. And that caused a huge backlash for a week or so. So the CPP leaders came back together and said, this document, let's make sure it meets legal standards and it's the will of the people. And so they set up a legal committee, legal advisors to review the CPP document and suggest changes and edits to the committee. That committee did their work and they submitted their work to the CPP. Now, when they submitted their work to the CPP, not only did they submit the framework document as the editor, they submitted what are called issues arising out of the document. The framework document from the legal committee, the issues arising out of the document, and an NSC agenda was sent to the NSC chat room with all the political leaders in it by Mr. Cummings, informing them that the legal office, the legal advisors have submitted their work, they've submitted issues arising out of it, and here's the agenda for us to discuss these issues. I'm going to send copies of that to you. All right, so that was sent to the CPP chat room on June 22nd. The meeting was on June 23rd. On June 23rd, they met and they agreed on the changes that were made to the framework document. And I'm going to send you the agenda as well as the matters arising out. I mean, you don't have to post that, but these are our documents here for the public, and we will be releasing these documents to the public, the final framework document and the agenda. When the meeting ended on the 23rd, on the 25th, and in that meeting, Ben, if you can, please put up the agenda if you can. And that agenda required that they discuss not only the changes that were made by the framework, by the lawyers, or to approve it, it also provided a timeline for which all parties needed to go back to the individual parties to review the feedback, approve it, sign a resolution approving it, and submit it to the CPP, because at the time it was the ANC as the head, submit it to the CPP, I send it to you, so that they can file the CPP documents at NEC, so we can get our registration and our accreditation in time for us to be able to field candidates for the 2020 by-elections. Every party resolution submitted, the deadline for the resolution was July 3rd, but every party submitted the resolution to the CPP, which I would say because it was ANC at the head of the CPP. Now, if you look at this resolution, Ben, this is ALP's resolution. It was submitted on July 6th, and it was signed for by the secretary in Aloysius Stoll's office, who was the CPP chair at the time. And this resolution clearly states here that they were endorsing the framework document in the formation of the CPP. Again, Liberty Party also sent the resolution. Unity Party sent the resolution. Those resolutions were added to the framework document that had been approved. And I'll say the resolutions now, and I want to take my time to do this, and I hope the people that this information is put out. And so here is ALP's resolution. If you look at the date at the top, you see Sherry's were signed for it. And these resolutions were signed by officials of the parties. All the resolutions were signed by officials of the party, and I'll send it to you. ALP, ANC, LP. The framework, the lawyers have done the review. And I really want you to post the message I sent you with Mr. Cummings, reminding his colleagues of the deadline and the timeline that they meet those deadlines in order to be able to register the CPP. The resolutions were submitted. The framework document, because when they signed it on May 19th, everybody had a copy. They needed to have one signature sheet with everybody's signature on it for the framework document. Mo Ali was given the responsibility to get the signatures of all the political leaders on one signature sheet. Mo Ali got the signatures of all the political leaders and the chairpersons on one signature sheet and submitted it to Aloysius Stoll. The document, the resolutions were notarized and filed at the NEC. CPP got registered, CPP got accredited. Aloysius Stoll informed the members of the CPP to pick up the copies from the office. Only the Unity Party picked up the copy. And we used that document for the 2020 elections. We used that document. That's the document we used for the whole CPP duration that we've had. When ANC was turning over to the CPP, it was turned over to the LP, because from one CPP party to the other. So this is a document that it was never been secret. It has been, in fact, Wyatt Power mentioned that when LP took over, we used the same document. We went through each of the provisions in the document at the first meeting that LP had. So how is it now that this document is suddenly, I'm hearing myself is somebody, this document is suddenly altered? If you look at the lawyer said, and you look forward or retreat from NEC, it is the same. One provision was changed, was added, or removed. Now one, and nobody in the CPP can say that the lawyers were not authorized to make the changes that they made, or that they didn't see the changes. If you look at matters arising out of the document, you will see the lawyer specifically mentioned the issue of withdrawal from the CPP, and that they were even going to contact NEC to make sure that it was within the laws that parties would not be able to field candidates when they withdraw from the CPP. That was part of the issues arising out of the stuff. All of that was sent to the political leaders and the parties. They agreed on it. The document became the document for us. They signed the resolutions. They sent the signature sheet. Everything was done in accordance with the process. But apparently now that it's becoming real, that okay, maybe we need to get out of this. People have to look at this with clause holding an 8.52 of the document is what talks about the withdrawal clause. This document. First they said it was Musa Bility that the alteration claims against him from LP. Then it comes down to Cummings because he was the chair at the time. It's unfortunate. This is where at some point we need to sit and ask ourselves, to what end? How does it benefit Cummings to alter the document? What's in the document? And they will not tell you what provision is altered. You know, the Indian talk show host sat on his show the other day and talked about the in good health. In good health provision was changed. When the document says in good health, you go to the what they call the definitions in every legal document and see how is good health defined. If you go in this document, good health says physical and mental state. Why are we doing this to the Liberian people? Why? The process is clear. The documentations are there. And the only reason, and let me conclude on this issue before you start asking.
Because we need to,
Yeah, the lawyers have submitted the document that they submitted. Margaret Lawrence requested the lawyers to submit a copy of the final document. They submitted it. They've requested NEC to submit the document that was filed, and NEC has submitted it. Those two documents are there. You check it, nothing is changed. Why is it? So it's not about the substance, it's about the public perception. Let's pin this person, and they say he the clean hands. Let's show the people that he not clean hands. It's unfortunate.
You talked about the lawyers. When the lawyers made those changes, it was after the lawyers made those changes, you sent it to NEC, and were the political leaders in the know, and did they sign off on those changes that the lawyers made?
Yes. The lawyers made the change in June. The document was filed at NEC in July. The lawyers made the changes in June. They also they attached the matters arising, like the issues out of the review, told the document and sent it to the political leaders. They reviewed it, they approved it. They did the rest, all the parties did the resolution to endorse the document and everything. And Mo Ali got the signatures of all of the political leaders on one sheet, because all of them had a separate signature sheets, and got all of them signatures on one sheet, and was submitted at with Aloysius, and it was filed. So, and Ben, don't take my word for it. If you go back to Mr. Yue recently, he acknowledged and admitted that the lawyers made changes and all agreed to it. Go back to the video.
So before, Kev, I beg you 1 second. So you said Mo Ali put the signatures on one sheet. Is that what you just said?
He took the signature sheets to all.
Oh, he took it individually to them. Okay.
Because they're not in the location, individually to them.
Okay. Let Kev Hassan come in.
Let me follow up on that question. Very important. So all the signature was on one sheet, Mariah?
All the signatures had to be on one sheet to file the document, yes.
So how we know?
So if you look at the final document, you see all the signatures on one sheet.
So how we know now that that one sheet cannot be placed on another document that they're claiming that was altered?
So they're simple, Keith. Look at what the lawyer submitted that everybody agreed to. Look at what's on NEC. Simple.
Okay. So why?
Well, the only way you would say it was placed on a different document, unless the document at NEC is the provisions of the document at NEC is different from the provisions in the final copy that the lawyer submitted that everybody agreed on. So there's no dispute that all the parties agree on what the lawyers submitted. That's dispute. No, even that's why the whole noise yesterday, at no point did they mention that the lawyers did not make changes or nothing. It wasn't mentioned because that's clear. There is no dispute. And these are not lawyers that you say, these are reputable people that won't put their reputation on the line. In fact, these are lawyers from political parties, that was something from the parties. I'm sorry, but Councillor Benedesano was one of the lawyers. All the meetings were held at his office. Councillor Kofi Woods, these are Unity Party people. He was one of the lawyers. Finlay Kanga was one of the lawyers. They're still around. They still exist.
Mariah. You know, we can see the attached signature on the document, but at least you know how we will know that the document that you guys have is the original document that you were saying that they have the original document.
Hey, Keith, man.
The
I just
original document. So why can't you guys just publish the
the
document?
so the document was it's simple. So we agreed on the document. The lawyers. I'm sorry.
Why can't the commies publish the document and ask the user to dispute what was in it?
But the document is public. The document is public. The CPP has the document. The document was turned over
to the public. Why can't it be out?
When this issue started, it was not for the public. Let's be clear. This is a political party. We are having a political party. Hold on, we are having your liquor talk discussions in your secretary. You don't bring it to the public. So the discussions within the CPP were meant to be resolved within the CPP. But when it comes out to the public now, and this is why these documents are coming out now. Nobody had talked about the resolutions that were signed by all of the parties. Like we're talking about it now. So those documents will come out. But the framework document is there. The lawyers' copies that were signed and approved is there. The copy at NEC is there. If you say the document at NEC, look at what you agree on versus what was filed at NEC. Simple. And there's no change. In any provision, no provision was added, no provision was removed, no provision was changed. What you need to understand is what documents are other people referencing? Is it the document that was signed before the backlash, before it went to the lawyers? Or is it a document that the lawyers presented that everybody agreed on? Simple.
It sounds to me like something is hidden within the ANC on that documentation, because if Mr. Cummings, we say is the clean guy, all you have to do is call the other three guys and say, this is the document, challenge them, and let's put it out there.
But the document is out there.
It's kind of fishy from you guys. I don't see you guys coming clean. The ANC, you're not coming clean on it, because all you have to do, you accuse me, I challenge you. Let's put it out there.
You try hard, and that's what we're doing. That's what we've done, and we're challenging them and saying this is the document. And matter of fact, recently the whole thing about Mr. Cummings, they asked Mr. Cummings the document, and he didn't present the document. Aloysius Stowe presented the documents that was filed at NEC that was requested. Henry Flomo from ALP picked up ALP copy. What's his name from UP picked up UP copy. So recently, so the documents is there. They have it. It's like, okay, look at the document. This is what was filed on NEC. This is what is on NEC. Tell us which provisions have been changed. You will not hear anybody state, Keith, do you know what provisions have been said were changed? Who on this platform or in public has been told what provisions in the framework was changed? Does anybody know? When this thing started initially, we said, let's hear the provisions that were changed.
Yeah,
let's hear the provisions that were changed.
Yeah, Mariah, just in a particular order. I know, and I mean, let's talk about the elephant in the room. What Costa said, right? Because this is what blew this whole thing up. Costa alluded to something about the process, the I guess conflict resolution process, if I'm not mistaken, that it was altered to make the process cumbersome, so that it frustrates the effort of whoever has an issue. What Kev is saying, right? When these changes were made, because it is obvious here that changes were made, am I correct, by the lawyers, according to what you were saying? When those changes were made, did the other political leaders, including Mr. Cummings, did their eyes get on those changes, and they said, you know what, we agree with these changes?
Yes, the changes were made. Yes, when the changes were made, a meeting was held on June 23rd, and the matters arising, because the changes were made and then matters arising were also attached. So those documents are there, and I sent them to you. So, and they'll be out in the public for the public to see. So those changes were made. After the meeting, June 25th, he again sent a message and said, as agreed in the meeting, this is what, the lawyers suggested, the changes to the document as we agreed. Let's not forget the timelines to meet the submission of the resolution so that we can file the CPP document to NEC. everybody was aware. Everybody was aware of the changes. It was sent to individual, I believe so, because the signatures on all of the resolutions for the individual ECs, they all signed the resolutions, submitted it to the ANC, and the document was filed. So everybody, so now the issue is, if the document was made, it was submitted, if you signed the document, if your party did a resolution for the document, if you didn't read line by line in the document or whatever it is, how is that someone else's issue? So if you come back later on and say, oh, wait, this provision on withdrawal, it really stops us from leaving the CPP if we want to, because even if we leave, we can field a candidate. And then you come back and say, no, we got to go back. That's not what the document said. But let's go to the issue of dispute resolution. What is the provision in the dispute resolution that makes it cumbersome? Dispute resolution is in the document. It clearly says, if a party is aggrieved, file your complaint. They will set up an ad hoc grievance committee. The ad hoc grievance committee will investigate, will send their report to the NSC. The NSC will make a decision. If you feel that you don't agree with the NSC decision, you appeal to the NSC, and whatever decision out of there is final. How is that cumbersome? That's standard dispute resolution.
Okay, I would like you to I mean,
and this is about the lawyer. What's the document come up to legal standards?
All right, so Morales, I'm going to ask my two questions because it will be fair if we just go around and ask you the question because you are the guest. And so I will ask one two, and everyone will jump in because Ben is conducting. Morales, was the framework document, what are the present or the revised or the initial document, whatever way you may term this, was it ever tampered with, edited, revised? Something clandestine was done to the framework document of CPP?
Nope, absolutely nothing was done. And to this day, nobody can tell you what was changed in the CPP document. Nobody. Again, the document is a neck. The document a neck, and the document that the lawyer submitted, look at that and see what provisions were changed in the document. Simple.
Do you have this document, this copy form of the framework document that begin at the meetings? Okay, the meeting at about 10 a.m. on September 14th. Do you have this document?
Which mean no, I don't.
Okay, the one that they had a meeting September, the one that started with at about 10 a.m. on September 14, 2021. Minutes from a meeting of the 4 political leaders of collaborating political party. Do you have this document?
You're talking about a recent meeting? No.
Yes, the 14th, prior to that meeting. Okay, no. You don't have this document.
No.
Do you have the framework document with you? Because we're about to go into that.
I do.
Okay.
I have the document that was submitted at NEC. I have the document that the lawyer submitted.
Okay, you have both. Are we losing Mariah? Mariah, you have both, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you have both. Now you have gone through them, you have perused them, you understand them because you put up your legal mind and you understand on both documents there was no changing, there was no editing, there was nothing done.
There's no provision, there was no provision of any of those documents that was changed. No provision. You go from the top to the bottom, there's not a provision in that document that was changed or added or removed. Nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna my last question, guys, because I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going to put out, I want you to sit there. Are you in the CPP ANC chat room that comprises of Musa Belete, Tilia Ure, and other surrogates?
I guess it's the advisory council chat room.
That's the advisory. I'm on the NEC, the executive committee.
So you're not in the advisory council chat room. All right. Can I send you these chat room text messages? Can you confirm or deny? I'm sorry, I don't have your number. I will probably send it to Ben and he can forward it to you. I want you to confirm or deny what was written and what was agreed upon in these texts. The messages.
Written by who?
Okay, one, it came from Chairman Ability. Two, talking to Tidia Uri, because this is bigger than we should expect. If this is something wrong, we're going to call attention to these text messages, because it's some form of confirmation that the document were altered, that the document has some changes. I want you to see it. I want you to let us know. Okay, let me send it to Ben. I don't have your number. I will send it to you.
Send it to me, because if I've seen a text message circulating about ability that document was changed and altered, and it's someone's word against. We know her positioning. She's been vocal about it. It's one person's word against the other. I also know that ability responded and telling her literally that it was a lie, and he never at any point said that to her. So I'm not sure how that sets the basis for confirmation of the document being changed. It's one person's words against the other.
That's where I was.
I know.
Excuse me. No, and that's why I said.
What I was trying to get at is, and because I'm looking at the exchanges here too, Musa is denying, right?
That he said that.
He said these things to her, and she's responding that you said it to me, right? And so my only thing, and I don't. Anyway, finish your line, Stanton, before.
Yeah, because with the exception of this, though. And with the exception of the minutes that was done, and I just show you this, you say you don't have it. We have so many questions lingering out there that something was done. Whether Tidia is lying, or Musa Bidete is lying, or somebody is changing something was done somewhere. And I know whether those are the advisory committee members. You are not part of that chat room, correct?
Right. I mean, but I was going to say the Indian talk show host shared the messages in one chat room, so I think I came across it. But like I said earlier,
who's the Indian talk show host?
The one who show full of Indian people. My thing is, I'm not going to discuss you say acid between two people who were not part of this process in terms of the document filing and all of that.
Okay, so let's forget about you say acid, Mariah.
They say no, I didn't tell her. That's not the issue. What we should be discussing and looking at now is we have two documents.
Let me ask you my next question, Mariah. Mariah, hold on 1 minute, please. Mariah, hold on 1 minute.
We have documents that the lawyer submitted after they made their changes, and one are next. Look at the two documents and show me what's changed in them.
Mariah, I'm going to put down the text messages that were exchanged between Musa and Tidia Uri. And let me ask you about this. Do you have this? I asked you before, and I want to ask you, do you have this?
And I think I don't have it. No.
Okay. So let me send you this. You please forward it to Mariah. On this document, I'd like to take my question. But I will come back because I want you to have it. I want you to open it. During the political leaders meeting, the following points were noted. And I want us to ask questions from those points. It's not the first document. It's not the second document. It's the document in which that meeting that took place prior to the September 14, 2021 meeting. I want us to, when Bernard Uri asked Cummings to apologize for walking out of the meeting, when Joseph Waka came and spoke on behalf of his party. There's a lot of stuff in here that pointing to something was done. Somebody did something to the document. But let me send it to you first. I don't want to keep you.
Okay, send it to me. I mean, meeting minutes, it comes down to who prepared the meeting minutes and language used in meeting minutes. But send it to me. But
you say it comes down to who prepared it?
Yeah, who prepared the meeting minutes and how language is used in preparing meeting minutes.
You see, that's not confusing.
So hold on.
Let me see it.
I beg you, can I take one more question?
Yeah.
Can I take one more question? If you say it comes down to who prepared it, these are
let me ask you, how did you get the meeting minutes?
How did I get it? I'm on the talk show.
Oh, I'm just asking because I've not seen it. I'm part of the CPP.
I get every document.
I'm part of the CPP. I've not seen it. So is that a public document?
Yeah, but becomes public because we're part of the talk show. But let me say this: the attendance saying that Yombly Kanga Lawrence, Abraham Darry Dillon, Musa Ability for Unity Party, you have Ambassador Bwaka, Amir Moda, Mo Ali. For ALP, you have Ben Yire, you have Momo. For ANC, Alexander Cummings.
You name me the list of NSC people. They are members of the NSC.
But that's what I'm saying. You said, but Mariah, you are saying anybody can do a meeting minute.
No. I didn't say that. No, Stanton, no, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. I said it depends who writes the meeting minutes and the language that is used. I did not say that anybody can just write meeting minutes. If that's the NSC meeting, those are members of the NSC. They attend an NSC meeting.
Correct.
The meetings depends on who writes. We can go to a meeting and I can write a minute. Ben can write a minute. Dr. Tina can write a minute.
Mariah, something tells.
Who wrote the official meeting minute?
Let's not focus. I don't think this is something.
Jeff,
who should write?
I don't think this is something that we should focus on. Okay, so let me ask you, how does the meeting minutes say the document was altered?
Who should write the official meeting minutes that the meeting is headed by Yombly Kanga Lawrence? Isn't it her Secretary General or the chairman that she will come with, right? Officially for CPP, right?
Yeah.
So will you believe that this meeting that is circulating was done by one of them? Or you say
no? I don't believe so. I mean, you can ask them. You can ask Musa Ability or you can ask Martin Kola if either of them wrote the minutes. I don't believe.
If they wrote the meeting, will you accept it as the official meeting minute for CPP?
It's not in my place to accept or not. I have not seen the details of the minutes. That's why I said send it to me. I'm just saying what in that meeting minutes.
So let me ask you, Mariah, I have one question. So let me ask you, the meeting that happened with the second meeting, not the one that happened with not the walkout meeting, right? The one that they ended up going to and sitting and meeting.
Right.
Did Mr. Cummings agree that he was going to provide copies of the framework? Did he agree that he was going? Because from what I understand, he was requested to provide the framework to provide, because say, okay, in an effort for us to deal with this thing, right? You provide us with. Did he agree that he was going to provide it?
Yes, and he provided it. So, like I said, recently, Elisha Store gave one copy to him, Flomo, how you call it, from the ALP. He picked it up. What's his name? Alfonso Bella from the UP picked up the UP copy. So that document was. Since you were chairman of the CPP at the time, the document your possession, can we have a copy? Because now we have the copy from the lawyers, we have the copy from NEC, the copy in your possession, and he said okay, and he sent the minutes and Elisha's all of this. They picked up the copies, so they have those copies. Again, the documents are there. Look into the documents and tell us what was changed in these documents. Nothing. Nobody can come and tell you that this was changed or this was added or this was removed. When you're talking about a document being altered to benefit someone, talk about good health. Woo! Good health is really? So the first document says you must get internal illness, but the other document says you must be in good health. How does that change the document? How is that an alteration of the document that the significantly benefits somebody else? Cummings can get it, that it will benefit him. So at the end of the day, let's speak to
the change your language?
Issue. What change your language? Why? I know what our lawyers see, but when you send document to lawyers and say, please review this and let it meet legal standards, you expect that the language will be set in such a way that it will meet those legal standards. So you talking about why change the language instead of was the content changed, was the intent changed? You say, okay, send it to the lawyers to send. Then you say, but why the lawyers say good health?
Okay, let Dr. Richardson ask her question, please, because she hasn't said anything.
Hi, Mariah. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Yeah. So my question to you, does it sound to you that the leaders who are giving the documents, because you said on several occasions that these leaders were given the document, They reviewed it. They were expected to review it. And also, they also signed a resolution stating that they reviewed it and then returned the document. Mo Ali went door to door, for me to be simple, and got signatures from these leaders. Am I correctly understanding you? So does it sound to you that perhaps people, some of our leaders took this process lightly, that they didn't read it or they didn't know? And does that have any implication for this past elections that we have had already? Because that was the document that allows CPP to, come together as a group to win elections. So then, are we calling into question those elections? Are there implications?
Well, if the allegations against the document were any true, then the elections results were void, because then it was done illegally, right? But it's not, and that's one of the things we need to understand. But what is most important about this issue is it's established that the document the lawyers presented was agreed on by all the parties. Mr. Lewis said that more than once before, that the lawyers did. The document was agreed on. It's established that the parties did the resolutions endorsing the framework document to be filed at the NEC. It's established. If you believe that the document at NEC was altered, all you need to do is take the document that the lawyers presented that was agreed on in the one at NEC and go through it and see what provisions were changed, altered, removed, or anything. That has not happened. Let's also go back. The reason why we're saying this is for the benefit of the public, but the burden of proof is on the accusers. Those who are accusing have not told the public what provisions in the document was added or removed or changed in any way that is different from what we agreed on as filed by the lawyers. Nobody. So why, at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, though, are we just going off of hot air here that anybody can come today and say, Stanton, you did this, you did that, and that's it?
Can I hold you right there, though? Mariah, can I hold you right there? It's just not anybody. The reason why, again, I was referring to the document, the meetings that was done. It's just not anybody, because in this document,
have you sent it to me?
The political leader of CPP right now, in this document, the chairman, the person that running the race, that head in CPP right now, Yombi Kanga Lawrence, on the framework allegation, this third paragraph, she stated. Now, I will read the second portion of the third paragraph. She mentioned the framework document received from NEC have 4 different dates. Yombi Kanga Lawrence is mentioned, she's saying that out there. Listen, it have 4 different dates. Okay, the page containing the signature of the 4 political leaders' signature is the original page from the final document done on April 25th, 2020. However, the 4 different dates on the document prove that the signature page was abstracted from the original document. This is Yombi Kanga Lawrence. This is the person now that leading CPP. In their meeting, she's stressing this thing. Talk to us. Yeah.
Good. So it was discussed in the meeting. I wasn't in the meeting, so I'm not going to speak to the meeting, but I'll speak to what I know. April 25th, when that document was signed, no document had all signatures on April 25th. Like I said earlier, everybody was in different locations. Everybody was in, so you cannot say the April 25th document was what the signature page was used and put on another document when nobody signed. There was no one signature page on the May 19th when they signed the document on Zoom. So listen to this. You just read that it was the signature page taken from the April 25th document. It cannot have been. If you in Charlotte, then you see, that's the issue. You asked about it, I'm responding. And those is that actually yellowish because they said they were investigating, right? It was discussed in the meeting. Meeting minutes is stuff that people discuss. It does not make it the truth. So somebody can say, oh, the document, it had different dates and stuff on it, blah, blah, blah. They're discussing it. Of course. But I'm addressing the possibility of that even happening. May 25th, you in North Carolina, I'm in California, somebody else in Monrovia. We on Zoom. We sign a document. How will all of the signatures get on one? How? So you cannot now say that the signature. Let clarify that. So you can now say that the signature page from that document was used because that document did not have one signature page. Everybody had their individual signature pages. When this lawyer's document was completed and ready to be filed, that's when they asked that Mo Ali goes to all of the political leaders and get their signatures on one page.
Let me read the next paragraph. Then maybe you will understand what this was. Listen. This is Youngblin speaking. This is not just any other person. I want us to get it straight. The next one said the document itself carried May 19, while the notarized page carried two different dates. And the confirmation of receipt by NEC has a date that is different from the submission date. Now you have three different dates.
Let me ask you. How is that not possible? You sign on one day. Is that the same day you notarize? It does not make it the same day you notarize. Have you now prepared documents?
And I will go back again. And I will go. Let me read the document. That's why I'm asking whether you have the document.
But let me respond. You mentioned the three different dates. The signature date is different, of course, because the document was signed. The notarization date is different because you notarize a document at any time after the signature. It's not the same day. The day you file a net necessarily have to be the same day you notarize the document. So what is the issue? How does that say anything about document being fun? So you go to but Kev, what are you talking? They tell you say the notarizing thing before the signing?
No, you're supposed to sign on the same day.
No. What you do?
No, you sign the document.
This is important. Ben, do you have this? Guys, have this?
No,
is that a meeting minutes? Is that a meeting minutes? Yeah, I do have that.
Yeah. So let's address it.
I want people then to go over this.
Let's address it. It's who you mentioned 3 dates. If the day you prepare a document is not the same day that sign it, it's not the same day. First of all, the day you prepare it, not the same day you sign it. Secondly, the day you sign it, not the same day you notarize it. When you notarize the document, doesn't mean you filed it that very day. So you cannot sit here and say that's of the document change because the dates of signing, notarizing, and filing are different. How? Who comes up with these things? What is the provision in the document that was changed?
Amen. Mariah, is there any investigation going on now with these two documents? Is there any investigation?
I believe so, because Mr. Cummings has said they should investigate the allegations, and he's been consistent about it because it's important. And this is why I want us to get to the other issue with what this is about. You cannot call someone a criminal when they've not been of any crime at any time in their life.
When you get to that issue, let's stick with this document. I know you were talking about that issue because I know we all have our own ill wills when it comes to calling people names.
It's because of this document.
You guys have your legal representatives on this team, right?
Of course. It's because of this document that
so my question to you then,
nobody can establish it was.
But Mariah, you have a legal representative on the team representing ANC. You have someone representing ANC legally. What have the person said? Is it true something was altered? Can you tell us from your group, from ANC, your legal representative, working alongside with Chairman Mo Ali right now? Mo Ali, the investigation is going on. Why will you go into an investigation? What are they saying to Alexander Cummings? What are they saying to you guys that there must be an investigation, something went wrong or something did it? What are they saying?
I'm not going to discuss the investigation that is going on, or at this point, I'm not part of the investigation that's going on. I'm telling you that the issues that you're raising in terms of whether the framework was altered or not, we could address it. You can sign a document on May 19th. You can notarize it on July 7th. You can file it on July 14th. Period.
No, it
So
wasn't
that's
like
clear.
that. It's
Now,
not,
in
it's
terms
not how it was, Mariah. It's not how it was.
So
It's not like I was sending a document today, go to more money to the bank, TD Bank, and tell TD Bank, can you notarize this for me? It's not how it was, Mariah.
So Stanton.
Yes, ma'am.
Help
Yes, ma'am.
the audience, please, and everybody here, and tell us what in the document was changed.
They are talking about the dates.
Oh,
I read it
Is
to you.
it possible that
I read it to you.
listen, I want to make a point here. Is it possible that notarization in the United States may be different than notarization in the US? Because I think there may be some confusion about that.
Well, okay. So what I'm trying to understand is the argument here that the day that the document was signed should have been the same day it should have been notarized. Is that the argument here?
Can I answer that? You want me to answer that?
Yes.
So Ben, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Your political leader from Liberty Party, Senator Yombi Kanga Lawrence, who's now chairing the CPP, she's going to take them for the next few weeks. She is saying the document is said carry May 19, while the notarized page carry 2 different dates. And the confirmation of receipt by NEC has a date that is different from the submission date. Now, let's hold on to that for a minute. They submitted the document to NEC on the 24th. Thank God it's the 24th. That's the day Stanton get married of September. Then it's submitted. Now, why would this date change? Who changed the submission date? It was submitted on the 20th. Hold on, Ben, hold on. This is what she's saying. And let hold Mariah to this point. The submission date to NEC has been changed. Mariah, why? You justify the notarization.
What submission date was changed? What submission date was changed? What's the date that was changed?
Oh, but I just read to you, sister. They're saying that.
But read it for me. What's the date that was changed?
But hold on now. The confirmation of the receipt by NEC, National Election Commission, has a date different from the submission date. Is that true?
What are you talking about? So NEC received a document. They said the confirmation of the receipt, confirmation submission. What does that mean?
Okay, NEC received a document today. Okay, we don't know what does it mean, Mariah.
No. The reason I'm asking is because how does that in any way reflect that the document was changed? They are
saying to you, Mariah, the reason why you have 2 different dates. The date I visited your office, Mariah, I gave you this document. Mariah, there you go. Submitted the document to you. You are the chair of NEC. It should be today's date, the 24th of September, 2021. Yombi Kanga is saying it's
maybe
not
NEC
the date.
has a problem then.
Yombi Kanga is saying, no, hold on. Yombi Kanga is saying, no, I submitted to you on the 24th, but you put a different date. What we received back is a different date.
Which date? No, but which date, Stanton? Because now I think you intentionally trying to confuse people.
I think let's stop and let's put it back in context, because I think we're a little all over the place. So let me ask you a question, Stanton. You have the document.
Wait. People gotta understand this.
I think we are not all over the place. This
no, I said we're all over the place.
About your political leaders speaking.
What is your contention? That the document was filed at NEC on what date? And when the NEC said they received it? What's the change in those dates?
So if the date that you're looking at, is there any change in the date? You're only saying there's a change. I gave you my document today, but I got different date on my document. Speak to
that. So the day you gave me the document that the day, so the day you gave me the document that the day will be filed, I'll keep saying this, the day you signed it, that the day you notarized it, that the same day you filed it.
The date that you gave NEC, when you submit a document to NEC, to the Election Commission, and they give you a receipt that they received that document. Shouldn't the document have a date upon receipt, though?
From NEC.
From NEC. Yeah.
Okay, so if that is the case, if you get a receipt, okay, that reflect another date other than the date that you submitted your document, isn't it a question? Will you ask a question? Why or why not?
But now I understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
We got the document. Talk to us, Mariah.
So Stanton, what date was it submitted and what date next said they confirmed receipt?
It's part of the investigation. But let me talk to you.
God.
If you
look at it. No. Then that's an issue because you came on the show. You wanted like people to believe that okay, the day they said they submitted the document, the day next confirm it is different. How is that?
And that's why I sent this to Ben to send it to you. It's not me. It's Yomlikanga Lawrence. It's Yomlikanga Lawrence that's saying these things. She is the political leader of CPP.
Francis,
How into the document being
all right, got it. I sent it now.
Thank you, Dr. Francine. How does that? So we're not going to take this entire show.
We are talking about the political party. If the party document is
we're not about to talk about document
update, that's a problem.
Stanton, if you say a document was changed substantially to benefit someone, tell us the provisions that the document was changed. Don't tell us the date. So if next says, no, that's what the accusation is. If next says they receive a document on the date, Stanton, let me learn because now you're not letting me learn. I've been letting you talk. If you file a document at NEC and NEC says they receive it or receive dates or confirmation of receipt date, you file a document at NEC and NEC tells you this next issue. How is it the person who filed a document that changed the date? You just said NEC said they receive it, had a confirmation, and you can say the date because it's still being investigated. But you on the show telling the librarian people that NEC said the date was different. Stanton, I think this is a disservice. What you need to be asking, or you need to be figuring out is because this is what the librarian people want to know.
But this is Senator Yomlikanga, Mariah. This is Yomlikanga speaking. You want to tell us
what is the provision? What is the provision? What is the provision that was altered? This is a question I've asked 100 times on the show today. Nobody can say, oh, what the provision of the document that was altered?
Mariah. Senator Yomlikanga Lawrence. She is the political leader of CPP right now. She's moving. Hold on.
You're discussing things that people discussing meetings. It's not outcome of an investigation. And you want us to believe that
Senator Yomlikanga Lawrence came up with a statement.
It's not a statement.
We submitted our document.
It's not a statement. It's not a statement.
You said it's a meeting that was written by her secretary. You say it's not either?
Stanton, a meeting means that people start in the meeting and discuss. People come to meetings for different issues.
So you can't. This is a Yombly statement.
The same person, the Lawrence initially said that the document at NEC was a photocopy. Do you remember that in the last video? Please let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. That the document at NEC was a photocopy. That one has died because we know that NEC does not notarize and accept photocopies. So you're saying again that Senator Kanga Lawrence is saying that the document confirmed for NEC is a different date. I'm asking you, what is the date? Then you say, oh, it's still being investigated. How is this fair to the people? Please, when you find a date that are different, then let's have that conversation. For now, let's have the conversation about what in the framework was changed. Please, what in the framework was changed?
Mariah, this is very important for the Liberian people to know and those that support the CPP agenda. Your political leader of CPP, Senator Yomlikanga Lawrence from Grand Bassa County, is saying somebody change the submission date. Whether you want to put this on the National Election Commission or you're going to put this on the person that submitted the document.
So how does the submission date affect the content of the document?
How? Because the second document that was submitted, the argument was it was altered. Something was altered. That's why it was submitted twice. Listen to me. I will say this to you, Mariah.
That's the allegation.
Mariah. Mariah, you know you are a very smart woman. That's why you're doing law. You're very smart. You know exactly where this is going. But let me pause for a minute and allow Kev and the rest of the team to jump on.
Stetson, you've been on a wild goose chase.
Mariah.
But good job.
Go ahead, something, you're a brilliant woman, but something today seems to be off. Like you're not coming clean to the Liberian people, you know, and signature dates and this is something not coming clean. Why your guy cannot challenge the rest of the guys within the CPP and say, bring the original document, this is my document, and let's put it on the table.
He's done that. He has done that, Kev. Where have you been? He's
He has
done that. The documents are available. The documents from the lawyer is available that was agreed on. The documents from NEC is available. What do you want him to do again? These are the documents. The one the lawyer sent that we agree on, the one that was filed on NEC. Look at the two. What was changed? So the fact that nobody,
which is what
we're going to discuss. Which is what we're going to discuss, because the fact that nobody has been able to say these are the provisions that were changed in the document should tell you that we are on a wild goose chase at this point. You cannot just put out perception as to somebody changed document and not be able to say what are the provisions that were changed.
But let him challenge them and say
that was removed or added that benefits any one person. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we've done consistently. And who has met that challenge? Go back to the accusers. Which one of the accusers has ever met that challenge to say, yeah, provision 9.2, it says X, Y, and Z, this was changed, or this was removed from what the lawyer submitted? Which one? We sit on the platform and on the radio and on the show and expect the Liberian people to believe that somebody did something so diabolical without giving them any proof of what was done. And we should accept it. Like, we're not like thinking people. You come and make these huge allegations with absolutely no proof. You sit on a talk show and hold plain sheet. There, yeah, I write it down. There, yeah, it was changed.
The submission date don't ring a bell to you. Why? Why is a change on the date? I go on a Tuesday.
We respect your intellect. But why would you just want us to brush off the submission date?
The submission date.
I'm not off the submission date. I asked you.
It's not for me to provide, Mariah. It's there. Youngly speaking.
You haven't given me a date.
Youngly speaking.
But you can say that it's being investigated. Then you say that's not what they said. What you read did not say that, Stetson. And Senator Lawrence has not come out to say somebody changed something in the document. So don't put words in her mouth, Spencer. What you read from the meeting minutes, it talked about a different dates. Spencer, I think at this point you're stalling the conversation because you read this thing, I've addressed it. There was no change to the document. The document was signed, it was notarized on a different date, it was filed on a different date. If next says they receive it on a different date, that's next issue. How does that fit into the content of the document changing? How does it change the content? And you have,
but that alone is fishy.
So what is that commission
dates and all this thing different. That alone is fishy right there.
What are the two documents? What are the two dates? But nobody has even said what the two dates are. You said the dates are different. What are the two dates? You can say the two dates. You want to say the dates are different.
Look, guys.
Ben, can I jump in 1 minute? I beg you.
Yeah, but you're going back and forth now.
We're going back and forth on this.
I will buy you a double shot. I will buy you a double shot.
This is intentional to not go into the actual issue, so you're stalling. What are the dates that were different? Okay, what are the dates? What are the dates? What are the dates?
Richardson,
what are the dates? You can't even say the date.
I think Youngly will come up with the dates.
Hold on 1 minute.
Youngly will come up with the dates. Okay, Kev. Then when Youngly come up with the dates, let's discuss it. When they come up with the dates, let's discuss it.
Hold on. Mariah, let me ask you a question. Are you aware, or is it true that Youngly wrote Cummings a reminder letter twice? Did he reply to Youngly?
No.
Can you talk to us on that? No.
No.
You are not aware?
That is not true. That is not true. There's no reminder letters that I'm aware of that was sent to the Commission twice, because I know the document was sent to the parties. So clearly, and there's a lot of misinformation around this process. And like I said, the clarity is something that is not disputed. The document was signed on May 19th. The backlash required the CPP to take it to the lawyers for legal review. They did. They sent their feedback and issues arising. It was discussed and agreed on. Let me learn. Why do you want people to know the thing?
All right, continue.
Yeah, you want to interrupt me.
Continue. The lawyers in the back. Yeah, continue.
The everybody is in the back. People in the back. Go ahead, my sister.
To know the truth.
You know, Dr. Biba,
you keep interrupting because you want the people to know.
No, I'm interrupting you because you did mention on May 19th date. No, because you mentioned on May 19th date.
You interrupting again, the people are not know. You want the people to know, you tell the people to think that it's actual author, Okay. We just
go ahead, Moran. Go
ahead. No,
thank you.
It was agreed on. The resolutions were submitted. The signatures were received from the political leaders. The document was filed. CPP was certified and accredited. We fielded candidates in the 2020 elections. We campaign with our candidates. We've used the document to run the CPP. The Liberty Party took possession of the document. When it turned over, we reviewed the document at the first meeting of the Liberty Party. Like, this document has been a working tool. Nobody who has made these accusations of the document being authored has come up to say the document, these are the provisions in the document that was authored. But yet you want to people to say, because you open your mouth to just say it, so it's believable. You cannot expect people to believe something that you can prove. So today, if I come and say, Stanton, you did X, Y, and Z, you want people to believe it because you Stanton said it. Because you get a bigger talk show in Labrador now. So you get this is unfair. No, this is unfair to the Labrador people because they deserve to know the truth, and they deserve to know that when processes are put in place, when people follow these processes, when decisions are made, you cannot come back to those decisions because you finally realize,
Morai, I have a question for you before Dr. Peabody joins in, though.
August 17, an executive committee meeting was held by one of the parties where they agreed that they were going to get out of the CPP. So this is all part of it. This is all part of it. Why now? The documents are available.
I have a
Look at the documents.
Let me ask you a question.
Thank you. Then we'll go to there's a reason why Mariah announced in our chat room that I
got 5 questions
on the show. She can only come on the show when Stanton is on the show. That's good. Let me ask you this though. You know very well that Youngblade cannot speak on this issue because it's under investigation right now. It's fair to say that, correct?
No, I'm sure. No, they've spoken on it before. A whole press conference was held before, but go ahead. What is your question?
No, is it fair to say she cannot speak on the issue? Neither will Comey speak on it because it's on an investigation, though, correct? We're losing her.
Yeah.
No, I'm here. What is the question?
Okay, so let me say this to you. The amended version of the document, was it signed by the political leader, Youngblade Kanga Lawrence?
Can you go to the document, Ben, that I sent you and go to the signature sheet?
Okay, Ben, please.
All right, hold on.
Please, I beg you, because let Labrador people know that this is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God.
So the
I send it to you, yeah, the CPP framework.
But why you can't send things to Ben? Why you can't send things to everyone?
You told me to send it to Ben, I beg you. Don't start with me.
Well, I mean, I see. Wait, hold on. This is the
Ben, try to post that thing.
framework, right?
The amendment one. Yeah.
But then,
Right, you're breaking up.
all the way down.
Yeah, the one I see, but I don't see signatures. I see blank lines.
Go all the way down. I sent you the CPP Finder framework signed PDF. The PDF.
Okay, good. I just saw it. Okay, good. You just.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's signed here by Let me send it. Let me share it with the team so they can see it.
Yeah, take a screenshot and send it. But what was the question? I mean, I said that initially that all of the political leaders and all the party chairs signed the signature sheet. What is the issue? What is the question? Was she not a political leader at the time? If you're a political leader at the time, you signed it. And this is what I continue to say. When we come to the public,
can I give you? This is why I asked the question, Mariah. Can I please? Right. And I will leave you alone, please, Mariah.
No, go ahead. The only thing I'm calling out here, Stanton, is the fact that you push away it's the public from actually getting the information that they need to get. And I think it's intentional, but that's part of what you do. But I also want us to understand that the people deserve the truth. So whatever you're doing to ensure that we stick on one minimal topic and not get to the truth, that's part of your gameplay. That's okay. But the Liberian people deserve to know the truth. And the truth is clear.
You got a document?
It is clear. There was nothing changed in the document. Nobody has been able to say these are the changed provisions in the document. It's clear that the document was approved by all of the parties by the resolution.
So Mariah, I have a quick question. This document that I'm looking at here with these signatures, the contention is that this document is not the one that was filed, correct?
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the contention?
That's what, from my understanding.
That's the argument. That's the accusation. That's the allegation.
The argument here is this document, which I'm showing on the screen here with these signatures, what I say is May 19th. The only person that didn't put, two people did not put dates next to their signature. Mr. Cummings did not put dates next to their signature. Well, yeah, three. I'm talking about political leaders.
Two.
Ben and Ayure have May 19 to his signature. Yombi Kanga Lauren had May 19. The only two political leaders who did not have a date were Mr. Cummings and VP Wakai, right? Yeah. The contention is, and from what I'm from all of the argument I've been hearing, is that this document that they signed is not what was filed to.
So then it's simple. Take what was filed at NEC and compare it with this document. Case closed.
Okay, so who can get that document from NEC?
They already have it.
They do?
They do.
So why did they just compare?
Senator Kanga Lawrence has gotten the document from NEC.
But they're saying they already compare it, and it's different.
Just look at the documents.
So did they say what was different?
So let me ask. So Dr. Richardson, one last before you come in, please, and then Dr. Peabody.
I'm coming next because
let Peabody come in. Let's talk. Ben, let's talk. Let Peabody come in.
Let Peabody
come in. Let's talk.
Go ahead, Ben. Then we can come. I can come on. Okay, all right. Mariah, yes, the issue here. Let me ask you this. Do you believe Mr. Ure and Yumli are lying?
You're mute.
When it comes to this document, do you believe they're lying?
I have not heard Senator Kanga Lawrence accuse Mr. Cummings of authoring documents, so I cannot speak to that. Those who have accused Mr. Cummings of authoring documents are being economical with the truth. They are not telling the truth. They're misinforming the public. Mr. Cummings, the ANC, or nobody had any reason, any incentive for any reason to change anything in that document fundamentally, that change any provisions in that document. And the accusers are yet to tell the Liberian people what are those provisions in the document that were changed. And that's the question all of us should be asking. What is the provisions in the documents that were changed from what the lawyers submitted that everybody agree on? There's no dispute that everybody agree on what the lawyers submitted. That is not in dispute. Mr. Ure has confirmed it that the CPP agreed on the documents the lawyers submitted. So if you have that and you have what is at NEC Look at the two documents and see what was changed, what provisions were changed. Nobody can tell you. It speaks to the integrity or the lack thereof of the people making the accusations.
Maybe you guys might have to find a forensic expert who can determine signature, who can determine pen.
She's in California to get the best there.
Everybody is a forensic expert, but nobody. Also now we're going to.
I had to make you guys come talk to us.
No.
Before you come in, let me say this: the lawyers are still around. All of the lawyers who worked on the document, they're still around. Matter of fact, Senator Lawrence asked the lawyers for a copy of the final document and they submitted it. So all of these documents are available.
So I'm a little confused, and I agree with. So let me ask you a question, Mariah. Now a question. Because of what happened the last time, I'm very careful. I don't know what every time you come on this show, I got to be hosting, and I don't want to have this responsibility because you stand there, you lay back now, I'm sure it on me, right? We're getting calls.
Mariah don't want me to speak.
Mariah, this is your show, and we're making sure that you have the final say on this. We're getting calls that Telia Ure wants to call in. Do you have a problem with it? Do you have a problem with her calling in?
I do not have a problem.
So would you mind if she call in?
I do not have a problem.
We're ambushing you, and the people chew my hair out tonight.
No, I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't got problem. I can't scared of nobody. I ain't got problem. And I think it's important that like when people hear the other side. So that's it. Because this is a very important issue. So that you don't have to go to caucus for it.
No, because the last
time the Indian talk show hosts are running away from me. That's what he said.
Yeah,
I ain't gotta say no.
Yeah.
You don't bring anybody. You won't bring. Let's discuss this issue.
Wow.
Well, let's just summarize before we take our call. Mariah is saying that nobody brought the provision that was altered to the public. So let's make that clear.
That's not correct.
It is correct.
So you know the good news?
What is provision? Did anybody mention that? I know one thing so far that was.
I come in to invoke my Kef here. I'm running the show.
Oh,
so I'll keep quiet. Thank you.
All right. Well, I read it for y'all.
I'm invoking Kef right now. Kef, thank you for that line. Okay. Let me say this, and I agree with what you just said, Doc. That's why it's important. Telia Ure Party was the one that brought this thing up, right? So we're gonna ask Telia Ure, all right, when she calls in or when we call her, we're gonna ask her, have you received the document from NEC? Do you have the one? Why have you guys compared the two? Where are the discrepancies? Why can't you guys make that discrepancy public for the country to see it? I think
let's see the provision that was changed. Let's see that. Let's see that, man.
One of your times.
Can I just take 2 minutes of your time, Ben? What was changed? Let's see what was changed.
Ben, can I take 2 minutes of
your
time?
Mute everybody.
Okay, Doc, you know Doc have to say no to you. So
well, I just want
because he should be somewhere eating a dinner. He is disturbing.
Just for clarification, there's two things so far we heard. One is related to terminal illness and good health. Two related to conflict resolution. So those are the two things which doesn't favor any party. That's what I heard so far.
That is big. Terminal illness and sickness. The language is big.
All right. So let's. So guys, all right, guys. I have Telia Ure on the line. We will give her the chance to make a brief statement first, and then we'll ask her like one question. And if Mariah have a question, they can also have.
Is she coming in to ask Mariah a question?
Okay, Telia, what is your Go ahead, T. Go ahead. What is the purpose of the call?
Thank you, Ben. So
it's too low, Ben.
It's too low, Ben.
Oh, it's low. Hold on. T, you got to speak louder because my thing on the loudest.
Okay, let me put my headphones on.
Yeah, she got to speak louder. That's all.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Is it much better? Good.
Is it better now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. So I think it's important for me to call in because I think that I'm in a unique position to speak on this framework issue. One, I'm a member of the advisory council, and number two, I was on the framework review committee. Mariah was also on that committee. So basically, the committee was tasked with reviewing and editing the framework. We worked on this framework agreement for months and months, and sometimes it got very heated. But I mean, at the end of the day, we were able to come together with this framework agreement, agree on all of the provisions. The framework agreement was finally sent to all of the different parties, ECs, for endorsement, and then sent back to the review committee now to be put in the last and final format, which would be signed by political leaders. Now, it's interesting to hear, conversations about lawyers and all of these things coming in and approvals when documents were changed. But the reality is, Mariah, that's on the call right now, on May 19th, which was the day, there was only one day that a framework agreement was signed by the political leaders, and every single leader on that day signed the same agreement. That was on May 19th. And I would just say this because there's a lot of back and forth going on. On the morning of May 19th, every member of the framework review committee got an email from Mariah. And in that email, Mariah sent the final copy that was sent to the political leaders by Chairman Good and endorsed by the ECs. And that was the framework agreement that was taken all around to the four political leaders by Mo Ali on May 19th to sign. Now, that agreement is the May 19th agreement, but even when Mariah sent that email to the review committee, it still had on it April 25. So in the final process, they put May 19th on the document. Now, I hear a lot of talk about, which provision changed, which provision ain't changed, let them show it, let them do this, let them do that. But the reality is the entire document is substantially different from what the committee that even the same Mariah was on, that I was on, is different from what we're seeing today. So when, let's say, for example, like Mariah is saying that, we had lawyers, these lawyers worked on the document and they changed some stuff in the document and it's nothing substantial. So does that mean that after the changes that the lawyers did, signature pages were just extracted from the framework that we know and we agreed on and just put on this new document that the lawyers created? The actual framework review committee, which had about 12 to 15 members on it, didn't see one copy of this so-called new framework agreement that's going all over the place?
We did sign a framework document. 4 political parties signed a framework document. And under his leadership, he convinced us that there was a need to have lawyers look at the document and put it in legal perspective. We agreed. So the process began. We had a meeting at Liberty Party's headquarters, and the lawyers all showed up. Most of them showed up, and they brought to our attention all the major changes they made in the framework document, and they explained why, and we all concurred.
I have a question, Ben.
It's absurd. Okay. That's one thing. We're talking about provisions that have been changed. A lot of provisions have been changed.
When did the review committee work end?
The review committee sent the final document to the review committee on
when was that? May 19th. Did the review committee work on the document anytime after?
Okay, Thank you. Brilliant point. Let's say, for example, the review committee did not work on the document.
That's a thing, yes or no? Did the review committee work on the document anytime after?
Mariah, so you're saying that the committee did not work on the document after?
Good. Who worked on the document after?
The document. I do not know.
To have lawyers look at the document and put it in legal perspective.
Lawyers?
To the point, Ben.
So since you don't know, the team of lawyers work on the document, and your dad has confirmed that.
If we had a meeting at Liberty Party's headquarters, and the lawyers all showed up, most of them showed up, and they brought to our attention all the major changes they made in the framework document, and they explained why, and we all concurred.
1 minute.
So the review committee work ended on May 19th. The document was signed, it was published to the public backlash started. The legal advisors, the committee was set up in June to review the document. The review committee had nothing else to do with the document. I wasn't on the legal advisor. Neither was neither was anybody. I think the question is, you said you did not know about the lawyers because at the time you were not on the NAC. At June 22nd, you would have seen that June 22nd, Mr. Cummings sent the lawyer's final copy along with matters arising. And then I think you need to put that message up on the screen so the public can see it.
Okay.
That was sent to the lawyers, but you were not in the NAC at the time, so you did not get that document. In addition to that, all of the parties were to sign a resolution. Please again put up ALP resolution so that people can see. You did not sign that resolution for ALP. The people who signed the resolution are there. So what is the issue that you are bringing to this public today to say that the document is essentially?
Mariah has just confirmed that indeed a signature page from May 19 was extracted and put
I did not confirm that.
Now that we have confirmed that, we can move forward now to the other
She's saying she didn't
on the show. I say yeah, I'm dying. But did I say that then? Did anybody say that the signature page?
No, she didn't say anything about
I did not say that. Thank you.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
So let me just say this. She didn't say it, but what she has agreed to is that on May 19th, the political leaders signed the framework document. If you look at the framework document,
that's not what I said.
If you look at the framework document that was submitted to NEC, look at the last signature page, please, and put it on the screen. You will see that on that signature page, all is that is May 19th. May 19th. ALP signed May 19th. Liberty Party signed May 19th. So if she's saying that they changed the framework after May 19th, then it means that on May 19th, the political leaders signed, and then in June, they added that signature page to another document. Isn't that what common sense would
No.
Okay.
No, that's not what it is.
Ben, can I inject?
I will clarify that for the public.
Yeah, you were
Let me ask something real quick. On the document Tilia is talking about, ANC didn't sign May 19. There is no signature.
The signature.
There is signature.
There's no date. Neither is that date. Even Joseph Boyka didn't put a date.
Yes, the two political leaders.
So let's be clear. And on that May 19, again, as I said, am I speaking or is who speaking? Who's speaking right now? Because
guys.
I can respond.
Okay, wait, Mariah. Okay, so T, let's make that clarification and then Mariah can come in. That's why I said before, the two of the four political leaders, only two of them put dates next to the signature. It was Benana Ure and it was Yomli Kanga Lawrence. Both Alexander Cummings and VP Boycott did not put dates next to the signature. So that we wanted to make that clear.
The issue here is what is Tilia's contention? Because I'm not hearing it. And I don't know if the Liberian people are hearing it. But what is the contention? That the document, that the lawyers did not change, the lawyers did not make changes to the document?
So
that CPP did not empower the lawyers to do changes to the document?
You guys, because you represent the ALP, you are on the NSC. It was the ALP aware that lawyers was going to review the framework document? Was the ALP aware?
Everybody, all of the parties knew that the lawyers were going to look at the document and the document could be amended.
Okay.
Okay. Now the question is, when was this amendment done? Who did it? Who approved this amendment? Were these lawyers amending documents just so that a signature page can be extended from one document and put onto another without it going back to the parties?
So so Mariah, 1 second. So T, you're saying that first of all, you are admitting that you guys were aware that that possible amendments was going to happen to the documents with the lawyer. Your contention here is the ALP, and I want to stick to the ALP with you because I don't want to tie everybody else. Are you saying that the ALP never received the amended version from the lawyers? Is that what you're saying?
Solution.
The ALP has never seen this new framework agreement.
Okay, so then that's the issue.
Thank you.
Framework agreement that we have seen is the one that we signed on May 19.
Okay.
Now, how our signature was removed from the May 19 document and put on the June or July document is where the question is.
Thank you. So let me address that.
All right, so guys, you gotta let T go.
Please let Mariah speak. Mariah needs to speak.
Thank you.
T,
So
you
Ben,
want to stay on? You go.
she can stay on. I hope she does, and she's free to ask questions as well. Let's clarify this for the public. I love this.
Okay.
Ben.
Okay, Mariah, she said she wants to say one more thing and then she would go, then we can clarify. Then you can clarify.
No, let me clarify first. You can say the other thing later, but let's clarify as she said.
Changes to the framework agreement.
Okay, so let's know. She said that the ALP is not aware of the document. Am I still on, Ben?
Let Mariah speak, please. Let Mariah speak.
No, let me clarify the first. No, let me clarify the first one. Thank you. She just said to the public that the ALP was not aware of the changes the lawyers made to the document. Please put up the screenshot of the NAC chat room with Mr. Cummings sending the documents from the lawyers and the matters arising out of the document. And also, if we can go back to Mr. Uri's video in the last few weeks where he confirmed that the lawyers made changes to the documents and they were aware about it. We can pull out the video from the order that he's there, and we can send it. But please put up the screenshots of the documents submitted to the NSC and the message from Mr. Cummings.
And
Sentence shall read. So let's do that.
Something.
Tilia was in the NSC chat room. Let me conclude. Tilia was not in the NSC chat room at the time. She and I were in the NEC chat room. June 22nd, the document was sent to the NEC chat room. June 25th, after the June 23rd meeting, the document was sent again with the timelines. To say that the signature page was taken, I think she should allow me to speak. I usually allow her to speak. To say that the signature page was taken and put on another document is a blatant diabolical lie. On the day of the framework signing, all of the political leaders were in different locations. Yomlikanga Lawrence was in Basel. How did her signature get on one page? She was in Grand Bassa on the signing on May 19th. Who went there? It was the middle of COVID. It was in Carisburg. So how long of the signatures come on one page on Zoom? On Zoom. The reason you see May 19 on that is because when they were signing it, it was after the lawyers had. They had to put the May 19 because it was consistent with the framework, with the May 19 on the framework date, and that the framework was signed on May 19. But it wasn't to say that a signature page was taken from a document and put on another document. How you would get signature page from people in different locations on May 19? And the reason you see other people did not put signatures on it was because you get a document, okay, when did we sign the framework? May 19. Okay, you put the May 19 on it. It was a continuation.
Okay.
May 19th was not the day that the framework on Zoom was signed. So Mariah has to get her date straight and get her story straight as well. May 19th was the day that Mo Ali carried the document around to the various political leaders to sign. No Zoom call was done on that day. So let's get that point clear. The Zoom call was done in April. So that is completely different. Now the same Mariah is coming back to say, oh, Commies posted framework agreement on June 22nd in the lawyers edited framework agreement on June 22nd in the advisory council chat room. So then, madam, why is it that our signature, ALP signature, is still for May 19th if you submitted it on June 22nd? You answer that question? Why is it that happened?
Okay.
May 19th?
Is it done?
It's on the document. It
All right.
doesn't make any sense.
All right, T. So you want to wrap up and then we'll
Let me wrap up here.
Yeah.
Maybe she need to take a question from us.
She's not taking a question from us.
The matter is
no, this is not her.
Framework agreement.
No, she should. That's okay. The Labrador people need to know. She should take questions from you.
Do you want to ask you some questions?
Yeah, I just have one more point to make and then I'll leave the show. And that last point is
but Ben,
of changes were made.
10 seconds. 1 second. This, please, can I speak?
Yeah, Mariah, there's a delay. That's what's happening. So please, it's not like.
Okay, so let me speak. She just said again, and for me, I like to debunk the lies. She just said that the framework was not signed on May 19th. Please, everybody, go on Google. When the CPP signed.
No, Mariah. No, she didn't say that. No, she didn't say that on May 19th. No, she said the Zoom call. No, Mariah.
She said the Zoom call.
Yeah, she said the Zoom call was in April.
It was. It was May 19th. Was the Zoom call for the signing of the framework?
Since
we're sending screenshots, I will send a screenshot of Mariah's email to the team on May 19th, giving the team the final framework agreement, which we did sign. Okay? So all of these lies and misinformation.
But these people are outside the lawyers.
Okay. All right, guys.
So why
can we ask a question?
What is people after the lawyer? Then let's clarify two things before Mr. Peabody comes in. One, the document was signed on May.
I mean, there are several priority issues. There are several cases in the docket. Why want to fast track this? I know that when there is forgery or the application, then you don't issue with the state. Rather than issue that so that the CP can live a 2 minutes. They are
framework document.
Like when the revived version came in, there was a tussle within the Liberty Party.
You also say that Mr. Ure said, "Listen, the document you present."
There was a tussle within the Liberty Party. You remember now? But the first one I do remember. But on the second one, because of this chairmanship, read my rule, hello Balu, so I had to jog my mind to be able to get a concrete answer. But but again, let me come back to there are those who, from the onset, knew that a formidable CPP would be the end of CDC. The two colors.
Let me ask you a question. The law also said that Mr. Ure said, "Listen, the document you presented to NEC, I didn't sign it, or the one that I signed, you didn't submit it. You submitted something different. Did you, Senator Steve Zacko, sign on any document? Framework document?
Oh yeah,
did you sign on the revised version of the framework document?
Like when the revived version came in, there was a tussle within the Liberty Party. You remember now? But the first one I do remember. But on the second one, because of this chairmanship, read my rule, hello Balu, so I had to jog my mind to be able to get a concrete answer. But but again, let me come back to there are those who, from the onset, knew that a formidable CPP would be the end of CDC. A formidable CPP would make a CDC a 110. So they infiltrated our rank and file earlier. They infiltrated it. They knew all sorts of.
No. I just want to get something clear,
and
Senator.
I told you yes, one, but no, the second one. I told you yes.
Okay.
I did sign on, but the revised, we had a problem in Liberty Party. So I don't know if I signed that or the young man who was chair at the time did sign. So we need to look at
okay, so you said the first one was the original document. You signed on the original document.
So again, when you talk,
the original one May 19th.
At some point in time, we had a COVID, eh? And
did you sign on the May 19th document?
May 19,
2020.
I would think if I was chairman, then I did.
So you did. Okay.
Yes.
And then this issue about the job clocks that CPP, but the same with that issue came about. So then you guys send it back for them to revise it. Am I correct?
So at that time now, at that time, I was not in the core of the CPP ups and downs. At some point in time, you saw her and you like yes, sir. Somewhere, I was not a chair again, and it's history today, what transpired.
No, I understand. I just want to bring us to, you signed on the first document, but the revised version, you didn't sign on it. Is that what you're saying?
Like I said, I would jog my mind, but I would think most likely.
So you agree that you signed on only one document?
I'm certain that I signed on one document, but on the next one, I had to jog my mind.
The one document was it. The one document that you signed on, is that the document that Mo Ali passed around, that Mo Ali took around? Is that the same document you signed on?
I would think yes.
The one document was it. The one document that you signed on, is that the document that Mo Ali passed around, that Mo Ali took around? Is that the same document you signed on?
I would think yes.
The one document was it. The one document that you signed on, is that the document that Mo Ali passed around, that Mo Ali took around? Is that the same document you signed on?
I would think yes.
So did you see Mo Ali? Did he present any document to you?
Yeah, Mo Ali came to my house. I do remember. And I
signed. So Mo Ali went to your house and you signed a document that he presented to you.
Well, one of the documents Mo Ali brought to us, and then but the final version, we did it through Zoom. But my political leader and I were together on that, and we signed together. Yes.
So did you see Mo Ali? Did he present any document to you?
Yeah, Mo Ali came to my house. I do remember, and I signed.
So Mo Ali went to your house, and you.
First of all, let's make something clear. Let's make something clear, and I want us to be fair here because we're on a national platform, right? One, Talia, I'm sure we all heard it. He said that Mariah had her dates wrong. That May 19 was not the day of the Zoom call. That the Zoom call happened in April. She did not call a date in April. She just said the Zoom call happened in April. I want to make that clear.
So let me make it clear, Ben, that is not true. Everybody can go on Google and sign the agreement. CPP agreement that was signed on Zoom, that Zoom call May 19th. Please, here it says we got news media on May 20th reporting the signature. CPP May 1st transfer work agreement, 26 on chairmanship. It's all in the media. Please Google. The Zoom call was on May 19th. So Tina is wrong. And this is why I like the fact that she's here. So let's clarify that. A simple Google search, when the CPP Liberia signed framework agreement, May 19th, that was the signing date. It was not in April.
Okay.
So we got to over May 19th.
So Mariah, we're running out of time, right? T and Mariah, we're running out of time. And we appreciate you calling in, T, because I think this was a healthy exchange.
Can we ask one question each? One question.
We don't have time. We don't have
time. That's the thing. And
what is no time, dude? We didn't have
Yes, Mama.
Okay, Dr. Peabody, ask your question.
That's all we got to ask.
I'm fine. I'm not going to ask. That's okay.
Talia was saying that she couldn't stay on. That's why I said we don't have time. So Kef Hassan, please ask.
She said she will stay on. Hold on. She said she will stay on.
Okay, let me ask her.
No, let me ask her.
Let's come back for another show. Let's invite her back for her own show.
No.
Mariah said she ain't got no issue with it, Dr. Richardson. Yeah, Mariah, she
let me ask her.
So let's
it's important that people know the fact. Everything Talia has been established to be a lie.
Talia, I want to ask you my question, Talia. It's good to hear from you. And it's good to hear from you, T. Let me just ask you a question. You guys are wonderful. You guys are wonderful. You and Mariah, we wish you guys long life to have an impact in Liberia someday to come, because the young women and looking forward to that. Let me ask my question real quick.
Yeah.
T, with everything that is happening in CPP, I know you have your own desire when it comes to Joseph Yima Boakai and Cummings, likewise Mariah. But don't you think it's necessary and it's wise for CPP and some of you guys, you surrogates, you supporters, to have some discipline, respect, to move CPP forward in a unified form? What are your, talk to Liberia tonight, T. Talk to the Liberians. Are you going to agree with Costa, some of the comments people are saying Costa is making? Are you going to agree with some of the surrogates that are supporting Arizona Cummings? Can we have a unified CPP that will have no distraction with words and insult? You have the time. Talk to Liberia to you.
Well, I am of the belief that it's certain elements in CPP that continue to cause, all of this tension. You see insults, going left and right, and you see a certain posture by some elements within the CPP that make it very, very difficult to work with them. You're talking about Henry and some of the statements that Henry makes, but do you see how many times Henry gets insulted on social media, how many times Henry gets attacked, how many times Henry's credibility is questioned? Even people like Mariah that are on the show right now, do you see some of her posts about Henry Costa that she makes? So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that it's, a one-way thing. I think obviously there's a lot of tension. Things need to calm down, and we all need to start looking at, accepting if Cummings wins the CPP nomination, are we able to rally around him? Are his supporters able to be open enough to have people that didn't support Cummings as to join them? And the same thing with Joseph Boakai. Is his camp ready to be open enough to bring in people from Cummings' side? Will Cummings' supporters also support Joseph Boakai in if he were to win the CPP nomination? So there's a lot of tension there, and the infighting is real. What you even see on social media is not even what actually is even better than what goes on in some of our rooms and when we meet in person. So at this point, what my hope is that yes, we can get past this. We can all sober down and reflect on what exactly CPP was formed for. But the truth is, it's an election. Primaries are elections. People will pick sides. People will say things that are hurtful to each other. People will think that once that is done, people will calm down and will be able to work together.
Okay.
Okay.
So let Kev
nomination. I will support that person.
Okay, let Kev ask, and then Dr. Peabody, please. And Mariah, we appreciate you for being very magnanimous here. So
I'm being very magnanimous, but I ain't been able to on my time to.
Okay,
yeah, but we'll give you extra time.
Okay,
That's
Talia, for the sake of transparency, can you tell us which part of the document, be specific, that was altered, because that's the most.
We're trying to make peace, and this guy going back again.
But that's, yeah, I mean, that's a good question, but it's going to take a long time. So I hope you got additional time to give.
Go ahead, T. Go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, it's a long document, so I can't go over it point by point. But some of the key areas, one, the consensus building process. In the original document, we didn't have any dates that were supposed to lead up to the consensus building process. The only date was December. In the new document, you see dates with September, October, which are things that we had never seen before. The dispute resolution and grievance section as well has been changed a lot. It was purposely left vague because we have a lot of different parties coming together. So we didn't want to make it very stringent when we were doing the document. Now you will see that in the new document, there are a lot of different dispute resolution mechanisms that have been inserted in the document that weren't agreed on. And that's how, for example, like for loss of membership, for example, it says that you have to exhaust all the dispute resolution mechanisms before a party can, for example, leave the coalition. Those are not things that were there before. And then there's a whole section of definitions, things that define different things like consensus building, good health, and all of these things. That section was completely taken out of the document. There's stuff about the headquarters. What we had in the document before was that the headquarters will always be rotating. And now we have a provision that calls for there to be one headquarter after a certain period when the coalition takes place. So those are just a few. There are other, parts of the document.
I have a question.
I actually
just one question there. No, that's good. So the question is, what document is she citing from? Is it the one that she said the review committee did, or is it the one from the lawyers that was approved by the parties? What document is she citing?
The signed version that was notarized on the 27th of July or something like that. And I'm comparing it to our final framework agreement that was sent out on May 19th.
Okay. So Dr. Peabody.
But you see, don't say, okay, you see the problem? No, before Dr. Peabody comes in, you're referring to a document from not before the lawyers' documents that was approved by the parties. We've had people, and that is the issue. So this is very important. The lawyers unless she's speaking, are you trying to give her time to speak?
Go ahead, Mariah.
How can you empower a team of lawyers to amend the document that you've admitted that the lawyers you were aware that the lawyers amended the document? Yeah, you claim you didn't see the lawyers document, but you didn't trashing what the lawyers did. Is she going to let me land?
Let her land, please. Let her finish.
She's completely trashing the lawyers that unless she is arguing that the lawyers' document was not confirmed and approved CPP as the approved document, why is she going back to the previous document before it was sent to the lawyers? Why? Please, somebody ask.
Are you saying? Let me ask you a question, Mariah. Talia, I want to ask you this question. The two documents you are comparing, are you comparing the original framework and the amended framework that the lawyers did? Is that what you are comparing?
Those are the only two documents that we have to compare.
She's not comparing. That's not what she's comparing.
Okay.
This is what they're intentionally trying.
No, Ben. That is to be clear to the people. That is not that's not what she's comparing. She's citing provisions from in the May 19th document and not the ones that the lawyers did.
Okay, guys.
The ones that the lawyers did.
So I don't want us to turn it. Okay,
no, we're not turning it. I think Ben, I should respond. I let her to speak because I want the people to.
Yeah, but Mariah, let me say something.
Because that's how you have
both you and Talia, one second. There are two things happening here, right? One, there was an original framework document that was signed. When it was signed, all hell broke loose. The public started making noise about a clause about jobs. Y'all decided, and y'all correct me, both of y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And both parties, all parties,
because we passed the time. 622.
Please don't cut me off. All parties decided that they will have lawyers look at this document. Again, the question I'm asking, tell you the document you are comparing. Are you comparing your original framework, which was signed on May 19, before all hell broke loose, to the document that the lawyers amended? Is that the two documents you're comparing?
So let me just say this: the documents that the lawyers did were never. That document was never given back to any committee to review and sign.
Okay.
Wasn't there a resolution?
Document. My first time seeing this document from the lawyers was just a few months, maybe a month or two ago, when this noise started about framework document. Okay, we have a committee which Mariah was on.
What are you doing? I think he's flicking.
What's happening there? So Ben, let's do this. It's simple. Let's do this. Thank you. It's simple.
We can continue tomorrow evening.
Please put up the messages before we go for Mr. Cummings submitting the documents that the lawyers did to the NSC before Tilia even got on the NSC. So sit on the show and compare document before the lawyers. The documents we should be comparing are the document the lawyers submitted that was approved by all of the parties and what's at NEC. If there's any change in the two documents, then you say that.
Are you saying Mariah
Okay, guys, we got this thing is not gonna end.
I think at this point, let's conclude it. It's very simple to conclude. You cannot say that the documents the lawyers did was not approved and JLP did not know about the document. Then I've asked this for the third time. Y'all please put a message up on the
Center, where is the text? You put it up. The text is in the chat room. You put it up.
Mr. Cummings submitting the lawyer's document to the NSC and the matters arising and the meeting minutes, and even after that, they follow up on what was agreed upon. Also, lastly, Ben, please put up the ALP.
Mariah, we'll put it up. I promise we'll put it up.
So people can see that they endorsed and accepted the lawyer work document.
I promise we'll put it up. I want us to be fair. Guys, okay, I promise we'll put it up. I want us to be fair. Dr. Peabody, please ask you one question, please.
No, I pass. Y'all can go ahead. I pass.
Thank you, Dr. Peabody.
Okay. So,
in the house. Thank you very much.
Thank you for getting on. Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay.
What is going to happen is the committee that has been charged with reviewing the committee that's been charged with reviewing the changes that were made in the framework agreement should come up with a report very soon. And when that report is made, it will come to the public. And the thing about these kinds of things, you can't really hide. The truth will eventually come out. So I'm sure that you all will be one of the first people that will get access to that report. And we look forward to joining this show, and hopefully Mariah will also join the show after the report comes out.
Okay.
So we can all have a conversation about what actually transpired with this framework agreement.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
Any day, anytime, I will be here to debunk the lies.
That's a good news, Mariah. You're not afraid of any comeback. Yeah, so that's not a problem.
No, I mean, because the thing is, Ben, when you were saying the truth, you don't have to protect yourself from anybody coming to something. And it's good that she came on the show and she said it, but it's also good that she came on the show and she exposed that she's not aware of certain things that are happening. And two things she said. One, that the ALP did not receive any documents from the lawyers. Again, for the umpteenth time, asking you put up the information of Mr. Cummings submitting the documents to the NAC that included Mr. Ure and all of the members of the NAC before she got on it. The second thing she said was that, and I agree with her on this point, that certain elements in the CPP are causing issues. It is true. Those elements are the people that we know that are causing the issues, including the Indian talk show host, including their accusations that circulating on social media about things that not one of them has been able to prove. When you asked about the provisions that were changed, she went back to the document before the lawyers even had it. When at this point, it has been clarified that the CPP approved the lawyer's document that they made changes to. So if you want to know that what at NEC was changed, look at what the lawyers did. At this point, what we did before the document went to the lawyers cannot be the CPP framework document. You look at what was approved, the resolutions, please. Put up the resolutions for the people to see. Why are you hiding these documents, Stanton? I provided them. In fact, we'll send it up for the people to put on Facebook. At the end of the day, the facts are there. The facts are clear. The truth. Let me conclude.
You guys see this? Can you see this?
Yeah.
This is what you sent, right?
Yes. Yes.
Everybody can see it clear, right?
Yes. It says, team, I just sent you the agenda.
Hold on. Sorry.
Okay. It says, team, I just sent you the agenda for tomorrow's meeting. I will forward a few other documents in preparation. In the future, I would endeavor to send the agenda and other materials for at least 24 hours in advance. Thanks. And that was sent. You can read the date that was sent.
So this is from 7:05 p.m. Whatever, I think it's from Mr. Cummings. Mm-hmm. This is from the chat room, the CPP National Advisory Council chat room. This is it right there. You see it?
Mm-hmm. Then please put up the other one after the meeting.
Exactly.
Put up the other one.
Stand on, you muted. I can't hear you.
Ben, please put up the other one.
No, I'm saying, Ben, we all have time.
Let me get closely and then we can.
Yeah, so let's try to.
Put up the other. If I get it.
Which one now? Which one you talking about?
Actually, you check. This is final draft.
Yeah, this one.
Thank you. What does it say?
That's okay, read it, Mariah.
Here are the dates we discussed at Tuesday. It's on June 25th. Tuesday's meeting was June 23rd. And then the list, the timeline, the time frames of what the parties needed to do to be able to sign the resolution so that the document can be filed. All of these were agreed on, discussed and agreed at Tuesday's meeting, including the document that you can see, framework document. So how in the world that someone from the ALP will now come and say that ALP did not see the document? If your party did not show it to you, down an issue, but go back and look at ALP's resolution. It was signed by several executive committee members of ALP, and it was submitted to the ANC on July 7th, signed for by Sherry Woodell, who is the secretary for Alusha Store at the time he was the SG. You cannot now come to the public and say this very document that you endorsed, this document that you had a resolution for, this document that was sent to you, this document that was discussed. And the last thing I want to say, please, Ben, before I go, since you want
to send the Indian document to
them.
Okay, Mariah,
no, wait. Yeah, I will make my first.
He has an anniversary today. He has an anniversary engagement.
I know. The last minute said, police, here are the documents from the lawyers with the issues, with the key issues they suggest to change in the framework agreement. I'm forwarding next the framework for each party easy to review and approve. It is critical that we stick to the timeline agreed for each party to submit their respective resolution. We run the serious risk of not getting the CPP certified in time to register our candidates if we do not meet the deadline. Okay. This was sent June 25th.
All right.
So can we start people? Let me conclude at this point. So now believe that the parties were not aware of the lawyers. And I don't even want to take her word for it because of that has been clear that the lawyers approved the documents and the parties have.
Thank you.
NEC take the documents the lawyers approved, did and compare them. So go back to the previous document that caused the hula baloo is being disingenuous because that document ceased to exist when the lawyers completed the work on the amendments. Yes, my people, at the end of the day, let me just say this. Ben, I'm closing.
Yeah.
This is for each and every person listening to make their own informed decisions. I didn't come on the show to convince anybody otherwise. I came to provide the facts and the evidence and the truth. All the documents are available and it will be put in the public because this information has been put in the public. I will not discuss the issue of Mr. Cummings being called a criminal because we know who the real criminals are. We know the people who have consistently over years in this country subjected Liberian people to poverty and use their political influence to enrich themselves illegally so that they and their family can live off us and depend on them for crumbs. That has to change. The fight in the CPP today and the fight in Liberia today is not about individuals. The fight is about a system that is set up to ensure that the people will be uneducated so that they're not able to analyze information that's coming to them, that they remain poor so they can be able to feed their families and have to depend on politicians to feed them, and that has to change. This is an issue of facts, the truth versus the lies. What is being accused by Ms. Cummings is split lies, and I'm sure I've proven it today, and the documents will be sent out. At the end of the day, it's for you to make your own conclusions on this, and don't let anybody to sit on any show and tell you what they want you to hear and believe because they feel you're giving them the power to influence or them to influence you. Thank you for having me. I'm available anytime anybody from within or without the CPP wants to come and discuss this document issue. We will present the facts to people. That document was submitted. The parties had a copy, the signed, the rest was filed. Anything else is bogus, diabolical, and a blatant lie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariah. Thank you.
So, we signed a framework document. May 19th, the framework document was signed. Copies of that document should have been forwarded to each political party. Because there were 5 copies we signed. One for each political party and one to be taken to NEC. As of today's date, we have not received our copies of the framework document.
Okay, so all of them were in different locations. So they did not sign the document as one document. Everybody had their copy and they signed it. And that was what happened on May 19th. So nobody gave 5 copies to any one person. Everybody had a copy. You signed your document, you kept your copy, you had your copy with you. They were not in the same room, they were not in the same location, they were all at different locations. They all signed the individual copies of the document and they kept their copies.
I was informed by somebody in there.
All of my sources in this whole process. It's a funny television show that people go on and make all kinds of remarks about people. And
I was informed by somebody in there that the document that was submitted to NEC was a photocopy of.
I turned on my television one evening and I heard people quoting things from the framework document that nobody would be able to leave. And even if you leave, you would not be able to fuel a candidate into the elections.
I was informed by somebody in there that the document that was submitted to NEC was a photocopy of.
Then that morning, I called my chairman and I told him I wanted a copy of all the framework documents that he had.
As of today's date, we have not received our copies of the framework document.
He immediately forwarded them to me. I called Liberty Party's vice chair. I wanted his copy of all the framework documents, that he had in his possession.
As of today's date, we have not received our copies of the framework document.
And both of them, forwarded those documents to me. I went through the documents and I said, wow, this is serious.
Because the lawyers did do an amendment of the framework document, and they did it on our advice and consent. The amended copy, we have copies of. As of today's date, we have not received our copies of the framework document. It still wasn't a document that was filed into NEC. It is crystal clear to you. We did sign a framework document. 4 political parties signed a framework document. And under his leadership, he convinced us that there was a need to have lawyers look at the document and put it in legal perspective. We agreed. So the process began. The last we heard of it is we had a meeting at Liberty Party's headquarters, and the lawyers all showed up. Most of them showed up, and they brought to our attention all the major changes they made in the framework document, and they explained why. And we all concur. Because the lawyers did do an amendment of the framework document, and they did it on our advice and consent. The amended copy, we have copies of. Now it was left for them, for the chairman and the executive committee who are working on this document to have gone back and compiled the document. After compilation of the document should have been brought back to each political party. And the political party executive committee, we have met and approve or disapprove of the document. In the instance where all the executive committee approve of it, then the political leaders would have signed the document and the amended document and taken to NEC. That didn't happen. Because the lawyers did do an amendment of the framework document, and they did it on our advice. And
Oh, I'm sorry, my microphone was off. And thank you very much. It was a long video. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, long video, but I am not going to go through this framework document again. What I will be doing is just to discover things and bring it out. And this guy said, why I don't want to listen to Spoon. I say Spoon is not credible, but what I'm doing here, and Spoon has all the videos. There have been a lot of people going on to Spoon and making statements and making and continue to contradict themselves. So if Spoon want to do the Liberian people a favor, in America, you do not go on CNN or Fox or MSNBC and lie more than 2 times. They will call you out. This wonderful framework document, what you just watched, was done in September of 2020, September 24, 2021. When Moriah went there and gave all the information, and even Spoon refused to show the information. They all signed the resolution. You listen to Mr. Ure. This, listen now, the document, the first document was done under URE. When Mr. Cummings took over May 19, and it was done by Zoom. So what happened was everybody stayed by themselves because of the COVID. Who the hell signed something virtually? It's just something where you just pretending you're looking at each other. Everybody got the copy and they sign it and you keep your copy. And when it did that, a backlash, it came back, the Liberian people rejected it. When the Liberian people rejected it, it was already in the hands of Mr. Cummings. So Mr. Cummings talked to them and they all agreed to bring lawyers. When the lawyers came in, they decided to do an amendment. People, this is not rocket scientists. The document will always carry May 19. It almost like the American Constitution. With all the amendments, it still carry the old date. The ANC Constitution still carry the same old signature with Henry Costa's signature and all, with all the amendment. So stop acting as if you are not an educated person. You went to school. Or document, especially Constitution, bylaws. If you sign it on June 1st and 2021, and if there's any amendment done, it will come back to June 1st. Now, this was the problem. The first time they signed it according to the age of the party. They had Unity Party first. Then later on, they had Liberty Party, then ALP and ANC. So what they did was, the lawyers also advised them that they should sign in alphabetical order. Hey, people, man, this is not rocket scientist. This one, you don't have to go up and come down, go up, put your hand and put it in there. So what they did, Mo Ali was the one who went around now for the signing sheet. And on that signing sheet, Yombly signed and put May 19 by her signature. Ure signed and put May 19 by his signature. Bwaka signed and never put no number, and Mr. Cummings the same thing. But the May 19 will never leave that document because the document was not redone. It was not a new document to say we redoing the whole. No, they were not redoing the whole thing. They were only amending and adding certain things. So once you amend a document, that old document is no more existed. It's out, finished, kaput. That was the document Taylor Ure was talking. You see how Taylor Ure took the lies around? She said, no lawyers. That is why I added her father clip on that. She said, no lawyers touch it. That's a lie and whatsoever she knew. Yes, they were the one who did the first document. The first document had a lot of stuff. It was not necessary. They only kept the job, so only a member of CPP. They had all kinds of things. There was no date. So the lawyers told them, say, listen, this is vague, this a document that will not even go for 2 months. Because you guys, when you start fighting, so you need to strengthen it. So that's why the resolution, Mr. Cummings sent it out. Ure, assistant secretary signed. Everybody signed that document. That's the document Moriah was telling Stanton to please show to the public, and he was delaying, could not show it. So, don't talk about the spoon and whatever, but nobody can tell me that I'm not supposed to go and get a document to show. So what I'm doing, it will be from the SKTV. I'm looking at every show, the 50. I got some. I got the 50-50. I got the OK where Mo Ali admitted on OK that, the Unity Party will not leave the CPP because if we leave, there's a clause in there that's going to hold us. He admitted. Mo Ali also admitted on Spoon, on a telephone conversation, that Mo Ali went around. That is why I brought Steve Zago. Steve Zago said, yes, Mo Ali came to me. You see? So the whole thing was, they don't need to take, when you say you take signature page and put it this way, even if it's not even illegal, guess what? When you amend a constitution, let me just break it down. I am the president of Liberian Community Association. I was the chairman of our bylaws and constitution. We did an amendment on the constitution. My name is still on there. It's still on that constitution. The date, the old date, when you dissolve it, if you cancel that constitution, you throw it out and you go and sit and redo a new constitution like the Liberian constitution. That is why you see Amos Sawyer name in the constitution, because we trashed out the old Liberian constitution from 1847 and we brought a new constitution. So they got the new guys who did it. So you would not find nobody from all. So that 1847 constitution and the one that was amended during the Todmor time, 1952, is done. You will never find that again. So Liberians, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this? These guys lying publicly. Oh, today I don't have the document. Oh, we got one document. If you go and Google now, they will tell you when it was signed. All the outlet, the news outlet will tell you that ANC had the first signing ceremony on Zoom May 19, and that's the same 19 Mr. Cummings took over. The document was finished and done April 25th. They only had to do the ceremony May 19 with Mr. Cummings, and the Liberian people went against it. They rejected it. So they brought in lawyers who did all the changes. Even in the old one, if you don't pay your dues, they're supposed to expel you. In the old one, there were a lot of things that were in there. The lawyer students said, no, it's not necessary. And the lawyer said, no, you got to suspend the man. It was too harsh. And then they came with them with withdrawal clause. They are talking about Article 8, even Article 7. In Article 7, it made it clear, just by you signing the document, your rights and everything is on CPP. You will not leave until after the general election. The CPP is supposed to dissolve or have a merger 6 months after 2023. That document was one of the best documents they ever put together. But Liberians, why are we doing this? Because of power? Or because Mr. Cummings is difficult to deal with? We have never seen an honest man in our life that running for president. We have never seen a Liberian who is so consistent. That is why we're doing this. And when you look, you see God can do things. Reverend Peabody said it on April 24th. He said, I think we need an expert, we need a forensic expert to come and check the document. This document, when the lawyers did everything, it was in PDF. There was nothing to edit anymore. The only thing you are supposed to do to print it out and put it together and go. Every party has their own. Ure lied. He said it was 5 copies. Lately, Mo Ali said it was not no 5 copies. Who the hell signed on Zoom with 5 copies? Everybody printed a copies and it was in front of them and they were all on Zoom and say, okay, this is my copy. You got to go through, it's a virtual signing where everybody can see you signing and you keep your copy. The same Ure said, we ain't got a copy, but after he said that he saw it on TV and people were talking right there, he called for all the framework agreement. Then he came back. He said somebody called him from NEC. Then he said, oh, it was a photocopy given to NEC. What do you mean by photocopy? NEC do not take photocopy. NEC would take a document that carry a wet stamp, a wet signature. When they say wet signature, that means it's an ink that you signing with. It's not a photocopy. NEC would never take a photocopy. And they're talking about June, July 10, and then the 14th. They deliver this document. The receptionist or the clerk took the document and marked the date. And they called them back. They said, no. The document is not right. It is not illegal. So many times we put in documents and they tell you, said, nope, you need one more paperwork. So ANC and CPP was still in the time frame. Nobody edit PDF document. Every legal document that is sent out, you in America, they sent you a legal document. It's in PDF because they don't want you to edit it. Maybe some people can, when you printing a document in your own office, when you send it, you put it in Microsoft Word and print it out because you're sending the letter out. But if I'm going to send you, if I'm sending you an email, every time I'm even doing a document and I'm going to email out to a person, I transfer it straight into PDF and lock it up and send it out. Nobody going to edit it. And then I keep the other copy for myself just in case. So nobody edit PDF document. You got to be an expert, and why would you want to waste your time? So when I hear them saying, oh, he resubmitted it, nobody resubmit 2 times. When you send me a document, I send it back to you. People in America do citizenship. They make mistake. They send a document back to them. They fill up. They send it back to them. People doing the children paperwork. They say, no, we need more paperwork. You send it right back to them. It's not against the law. It's not a crime. But while Liberians would love to change stories, would love to do all kinds of things, please, man, Liberia is the most beautiful place that you ever want to know when Liberia will be good for you and you and I. Now they tell you because you live in America, you have no right to go home to contest for anything. You're not a Liberian again. But if you go there, they want you to spend your money. You see, Peabody said it. So today, Mr. Cummings hired the services of Tony Blair's wife, Councillor Blair. She's well known around the world. She do it for other countries. Because this man built his character. He respects his name. And we are trying to tarnish him and destroy his 40 years work. Because he wants to be president. We're trying to destroy his 40 years that he built his character on. So what are you trying to do? He will do anything to survive, to protect it. And we will help him and we will stand with him, whether you're lucky or not. For me, I don't know other people. I don't know about you, but I stand with Alex Cummings. We either lose together, we fall together. Because I want a better Liberia. I want a Liberia that other Liberians today who don't have the opportunity to travel will survive. I want a Liberia that even if you cannot leave Liberia, you should live in a country where you can pay your rent, feed yourself, send your children to school. I'm looking for a Liberia with a better health care, a better infrastructure, that other countries will run to us again. That Liberia can still go back, be the country of the 1968. We can do it. We can do it. We've been having leadership problem, bad leadership. I'm not here to convince you and force you who to vote for, but it is your conscience. If you love your country, Liberia, enough is enough. The criminals are publicly, you can see them with your eyes. You can see the corruption with your eyes. You don't need no paperwork. So it is time that you stand as a Liberian and make the decision for yourself. If you love your country, if you're a patriot, you would know what is right. Ask them question. Ask Mr. Cummings question. But ask yourself, it's simple. You got one man who is still going around the country talking to people, say we can do it. Talking to people, say we can do it, and they are frustrating him, they're taking him to court, and he stayed patient. That is the beauty and the character of a leader. You hold nothing personal, no animosity. If there any ordinary Liberian, by this time, they give up. They say, you know what? Let's let it go. Imagine what happened to poor Liberians when it comes to justice system in Liberia. They got people who continue to go to court and cannot even get justice. There's a girl who left from here, sent an X5 BMW for her father. Her father died. She went to Senator Tiege. Tiege took that car and still using it. That girl cannot get justice in Liberia today. You think he could do it to somebody who got money? That person would take him places that he himself would not want to go, and whether it can take 10 years, he will pay. TJ will pay for that car. We got people today taking people land. They can't get it back because they got government and backing. They got people working in government. That is not fair to Liberian people. And imagine Cummings, who has all the resources, how they treating him. If Cummings was somebody, other politician like Tiawan Gonglo, who stays struggling, yes, he's a lawyer, he will plead for himself, but they would try to squeeze him so badly, It happened with Baker Matthews. Baker Matthews had nothing much. Baker Matthews had no money. When Doe banned the party, what they do? Nothing. That's the same thing they want to do in Liberia today. That is why we're suppressing. You got a justice ministry that disgracing our law. You got a solicitor general who just used his power, went to court and said, oh, I'm afraid that the people booing me, so I can't even go through the case. He used his power and postponed the case. You got a justice or solicitor general who prosecute and find a man guilty before even a case can try and can go to trial. You got someone you want to prosecute them, but you're still looking for evidence and begging them to bring evidence to prosecute themselves. When the Constitution is clear. When you say, oh no, I cannot bring evidence to prosecute myself, oh, that means you get something hiding. Liberian people, what happened now? Not because it not happened to you. What goes around comes around. People who you see going through trouble today, who people are being victimized, these were the same people who cast vote, who voted for somebody that pain on their neck today. But you don't have to blame yourself. This election is coming. It's either to stay or to move forward. If you think that Liberia is okay and your life is fine, you can keep President Weah. Or else you can move forward. We're not going backward. We're not going back to the days to see the same people who were there for 12 years, who push her around, push us, and they're telling us today that we should give them chance. They got new ideas and still we don't see that ideas. We should give them chance. This is not entitlement. Nobody's entitled to presidency or leadership in Liberia. It is the privilege. The Liberian people give it to you. They say, yes, we will give it to you. It's not about your education. It's not about your whatsoever. If the Liberian people want to give it to you, fine. Democracy is not 100%. We all want educated people. We want our country to be educated. We want our country to stand on the foundation of education that, yes, tomorrow we will come. Look at India. We are 100 years older than India. But they spend money into education. They didn't just jump to university level and start spending money. They went back to the drawing board. Today, India is the number 4 country in the world when it comes to military might. Today, India can brag of everything. But yesterday, India was nothing to us. Japan was nothing to Liberia. Do we sit down sometime and think why we still crying about, oh, I've been in refugee camp, nobody gave me nothing. Oh, that man get $10,000. Instead of helping his brother and sister there, he take the money, he buy a car for himself. That's your business. We can't keep rich friend. By the time a Liberian man call you, you say, oh, you know my man died yesterday. The man say, hello, how you coming? How the family doing? Oh, we eat nothing here. When will you even try? I was in Liberia. I'm coming to close now. I was in Liberia. This boy who worked for us, he said, oh, Chi, my birthday. Oh. I said, okay. Happy birthday. He wants something from me. So I call him. I said, you see how you can spoil your way? He said, what? I said, if I were in your situation, I will invite my chief to my house and say, Chief, I'm having my birthday party. If I get only water, I will provide water and small rest and whatsoever. When your chief, because you drive for your chief and your chief like your business, your chief will go to that house to surprise you. And when he get to that house and when he notice that people are there and no food, no nothing, but he said, oh, my driver, this boy worked for me, but this boy is so sincere. He got a water sitting down. I will go and buy stuff or give you something and say, let everybody entertain themselves. But with your birthday, I'm going to give you birthday. On your birthday, I should send you money, but you will never invite me one day. You will not say, oh, Chief, I get today my birthday, but you know my wife cooks small the rice. So he sat down and looked at me and said, Chief, you see, he said, Papi. I said, don't call me Papi. And he was older than me, and but the braid hair now. He like, bro, once they work with you, to call you Papi. I no one knew you got. I said, that's the fact. I said, but I gave him something. I said, but that's what you're supposed to do. I said, maybe you're going to get more. But you behind me birthday. But your own birthday, I'm going to give you money. Then you go and hang out somewhere to say, oh, Chief, I come here, let her have small thing. We don't know how to keep friends. It's the same thing we do to Liberia. We sit there, we give poor people positions, they get rich over our head. The same thing. People go to Liberia, you don't care. They say the man get millions of dollars. You don't care how he get millions of dollars. Then you look at other Liberians who work so hard. They earn their money sincerely. You can see the information all over the internet where they work. Then you want to disgrace them. But we get other Liberians going home, they carry millions of dollars. You surprised where they were working at. You don't give a damn. Like the situation right now going on with this whole passport and thing, the border in jail, what his name? They ever asked him where he got the money from? But they were all eating from him. They were all collecting. And Liberians are good at that. And when you drop, they're done with you. Daniel Cassell. They're taking all Daniel Cassell picture down now in Liberia. It's not on the bus anymore. But when he was spending all his millions of dollars, they don't care. All they do, they want to eat from you. So other people who work sincerely, oh, Mr. Cummings so cheap. Oh. Mr. Cummings won't get nobody $5. I said, he worked for his money. Why can't you ask Mr. Cummings how you did it? Help us. Liberians, please. That's the only country we got. We're not better than you. If you're in Liberia today and you listen to me, don't let nobody fool you. We live in the diaspora. We live in Europe, America, and whatsoever. It's just by the grace of God. You're smarter than some of us. God gave you something when we were in Liberia trying that some of us would never, I never thought I was going to leave Liberia. But I used my own little head and got in touch and then empty and whatsoever. I did my own just to get out because I knew there was no future. Not that we don't have it. There are people in Liberia who survive today. There are people in Liberia who were nothing and they're in government because everybody look up to government job. But some of us was not looking up to government job because if I was looking up to government job, I was going to stay in Liberia. I was an inspector general. I was going to stay there. And in fact, before I was down Jalatan, when I went back 2005, one of the representatives, I will not call her name, while I was there talking to Children King, they said, oh, people had to hug me. They said, oh, how are you? They're not bothering me. They say, because you're not here, our 40 men that they represented. I said, oh, you talking to the representative? My friend, who were working with me directly, Dave Kuhlman, one of the inspectors. Dave Kuhlman became a representative. Everybody was going to say, man, you're going to be. No, that's not the point. There's time for everything in life. So not because if you, maybe if I was going to be in Liberia, by this time, my dad, maybe. So no decision is right until it is right. So don't think that because you're out of the country, when you go back home and you see this kid who are living in the yard today, he got mansion like Jefferson Koji, then you envy him. No. He steal the money, it will not last. You don't need to envy him. You don't need it. Everybody who is rich today, they want to work in government. Majority of our rich people in Liberia. And that's how they get it. That's how they blow it off. We need a better country. We need a country where if you want to rob somebody, you will think twice. That when the law hold you, the law will not look at you as John Brown. It will look at you as a Liberian citizen. It will not look at you as a Grobo man or Pele man or Guillaume man or Mano man. It will look at you as a Liberian citizen who has the right under the law. That is what some of us fighting for. That is what I'm fighting for purposely. That when I go home, I don't have to be looking on my back. That if anything happens, I should have justice. Not to say, oh, you voted against that man yet. Some of us here will never get a frequency in Liberia once this government is in power. We will never. Because they think that we will use it to criticize them. Yes, we will. We will. But you got other people who have it. So don't think that they would never. You know, Freetown man got the saying, Kaka long sote ego cut. I'll take this word from Albert Payne. They say, whatever you do for yourself, it will die with you. But whatever you do for others and the world, it will remain as immortal. And there's another word I will take from Emmanuel Cotto. No matter how long a crocodile or a lizard stays in the water, it will never change to a crocodile. So for President Weah, no matter how long we keep President Weah, he will never make the difference. He will never do more than what he's doing right now. Corruption is at the base and they will remain there. That is what they will do. That is what they know best. It cannot change. So guys, share the video. Thank you for watching. I'm not going to be talking about no framework. I'm not going to go after something. We got a lot of work to do. We got work to do to tell the Liberian people. And I want to apologize again. The other day, I've decided I'm not going to go. I will go through the comments, but I will not mention people names who would be insulting, people who would want to do. I would just take the action that I would love to take on my own. But I would not concentrate and argue with anybody. So you can call me dog, you can call me cat, you can call me whatsoever. I would just do what I'm supposed to do. Look at the name. If I want to keep you under my post, I will keep you, or I will screenshot it and take it to and send it off to complain. But let me advise you guys. One of the ways, easy way that Facebook can block you on a live feed is the easy place that Facebook can block you if you don't know today. I can use, because they don't have that technology for me to use the word, I can use the words and say profanity and use it and whatsoever. Is hard unless 5, 6, 7, 10% just continue to complain you, and then they will look at the video because they don't understand. But if you spell a word and you think you want to spell the word stupid, and you say I am stupid, and you spell that word out, that word alone is bully, it's an insult. When I screenshot it, I can send it, and they will find out. Maybe they will warn you for the first time, and then the next time they'll give you 24 hours, they give you 3 days, and whatsoever. So if you come under the post and you insult it, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to even call your name. If I pop your statement on and I see it, I will just put it down. I'm not going to argue because I still remember call this name, and I was just calling the name over and over, and they were just bombarding. I know sometimes they start, and what I get to know again, there are people who build fake pages, and there are people who they pay them to go on a certain live and listen to me. Let me tell you today, don't let nobody fool you. You can come on my live and see 65 and see 40% watching me. More people watch me. I don't need 10,000 people to watch me because I know what's going on. So my honest 5 that watches me share the video, and people call me and say, oh, I watch you, but you know what? I don't click on it because I don't want for people to see me to know that. If you can watch a whole show, if you don't click, your name will not pop up. So I don't care. But the fact is that the message is resonating. You understand? The message is resonating. I want to say thanks to everyone for being that patient to watch what are they. So time when time pass by, you will see me showing video from 50/50 and OK FM and the Sky TV, Seku TV, because most of the guys had interviews and they make a lot of mistakes. And Moses was right. We gave people too much privilege. We gave people too much attention. It is time that we need to stop it. It is time that we need to stop it. We don't need, listen, if you think, I can tell you, I can put my friendship aside and deal with you good and come back to you. But if you think my friendship is not worth it, hey, the bills that come to my house, it's not to your door. It's my bill. They would never make mistake and take it to your bill, to your house. So I would not be afraid to tell anybody the damn truth. Liberia is the country that I know, and that is where I want to go home and retire. So thank you very much. Share the video. I love you guys. And for those of you who make some good comments, I want to say thank you. Those of you who ask questions, and don't forget, and every Sunday we'll continue this show. And who is coming? I want to say thanks to the sponsors, and Agnes and Foreign Guy and John Mawolo. I need other help from other, and what was his name? And Madeline, one of the strong sponsors. In fact, she followed me. She's one of my backbone. Everybody my backbone now. I can't put myself in trouble here. But these are the people that when I call upon them anytime, anywhere, they are ready. So Madeline, Agnes, John Mawolo, foreign guy was the first who said, Mone, you can do it. We can do this. Let us change things. He had that passion and we talked. And he was the first. He said, I will make the first contribution. I never asked him, he said, he gave $305. So we still got money to give out. Please, on Sunday, I want to give out $100 or maybe $200 next week, Sunday. So encourage your people. Let them call. Let them know. Mr. Cummings, let them know. And it's so funny. After, because of Mother Day, that's why I took it late. I came out late. But it's so funny. After the show, people call me. And like people get driving, they say, well, Papa, just send small thing now. I say, okay, just try and call back too. So people will be surprised. Maybe the first person I will call will get $5 extra. Maybe the second person I will call, or maybe I will ask you question of anything concerning ANC. Anything. It's a general question, but know about Alex Cummings, know about the Constitution, know your rights, know your government. It's almost like civics, current events, know all these things. But guess what? Everybody is a winner. You do not call on the show and don't win. You will win something just by calling. So I will ask you questions until you answer one, and then you will get something. So there will be, everybody is a winner on the show. And I want to say thanks. If you want to make the contribution, let me know. You can inbox me. I do it. I got mine. We got enough money to go to $10. Even, to be frank, even if I don't have it, I would put it, I would do it. I got people who call me, the JY shop in Trenton. So I'm trying to put an ad together that I would play, but it's not easy to edit. You got okay. Now this whole week again, I'm so busy. We got a Mother Day program coming up to my church. I got to do the program. I got to do pictures. I got to do all kinds of things. So now it's not easy. Today I had to go and hustle, do some work, come back again and go this place. My wife said, what time you will sleep? What time is it? 1 o'clock. Then I got to go to work tomorrow and then come back again. So I love you guys. I love what I do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all take care. Have a good day. And God bless you. Cummings order. Oh, let me sing for you. Let me sing my ANC song. I got to look for something and free time God to join me. Because for some reason I went to school in Sierra Leone, so the Creole, I heard that song before, but it was in Creole. In Liberia today, that Cummings we want to. In Liberia today, that Cummings we want to. Come on 2023, Cummings will win the election to go to executive mansion to be our president. Oh, Cummings, yeah, that man who we want for our president. Cummings, so, that man who we want to for our president. Infrastructure, that Cummings, so, that man where we want to for our president. Job creation, that Cummings, that man where we want to for our president. Agriculture, that Cummings, that man where we want to for our president. Law and order, that Cummings, that man where we want to for our president. Education, that Cummings, that man where we want to for our president. Good health, that Cummings, that man where we want to for our president. Hey. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Y'all have a blessed day. God bless you. God bless me. And I love you guys.